Have you ever wondered if taking your Subaru off-road and lifting it and modifying it for overlanding is a good idea? Well, in this episode, my friend Cody kind of lays out all the challenges that he's experienced over the years, things he's run into, and also he kind of paints a picture of what some of the realistic expectations are if you are specifically looking at buying an Outback Wilderness or planning to modify your Outback Wilderness for overlanding and off-road use. Cody is one of my good friends. I met him in 2022 on the Washington Backroad Discovery route. We did a overlanding type of off-road trip. And it was really cool because that was one of his first off-road trips. I got to see him go from a brand new off-roader to somebody that's like way more comfortable behind the wheel and kind of knows what they're doing when they're on the trails. And so I really enjoyed this episode. He had a lot to talk about, and I felt like it was a really, really good conversation. Obviously, we got a couple pieces of housekeeping. We got to thank our sponsors, Melee Design Firm. They are one of our biggest supporters, and the way that they are saying thank you to you guys for listening and supporting us is they're giving you guys a 10% off discount. So anything in their store, so batteries, battery boxes, tie downs, strut tower braces, they have all sorts of accessories for Subarus. And all you got to do to get the 10% off is just go to meleedesignfirm.com, put your stuff in your cart, and then at checkout, just use the code DIRTSUBIES. And you guys know that I've been using ADF products for probably a decade at this point. They make some of the best off-road parts for Subarus and make some solid lift kits. They now make skid plates, ditch light brackets, all sorts of little accessories that make off-roading a little bit easier in our cars. Oh, and molly racks. They make some sick molly racks, molly panels. They are also sponsoring us, and they're doing a similar deal where all you got to do is use the code DIRTSUBIES, and that'll get you 5% off pretty much any ADF branded hard goods on their website. Their website is awdadventure.com. That discount doesn't apply to things like the torque locker and other items that they sell in the store that are not their brand. But for their stuff, it's hard goods. You can get that deal. And then, of course, if you're not already listening to the Subi and You podcast, that is a fantastic podcast full of just tons of episodes for you guys to binge. You can listen to them on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever. I'm trying to get him to start putting his stuff up on YouTube, but we'll see. He is doing a little YouTube channel, so make sure you're subscribed over there, and hopefully we can grow his podcast even bigger than it already is. With all that said, let's freaking go ahead, jump into this episode with my friend Cody. I think you guys are going to love it.
But I do have an Instagram. I don't post a lot. I believe it's off.road.wilderness.
Perfect. That sounds right. I can't remember off the top of my head. Okay, well, let me ask you this, since you already hinted at it. You've got a little bit of a Subaru history. Will you walk us through kind of your Subaru ownership experience?
Yeah, and it wasn't all completely mine. My mom actually had some influence in it. Not super old stuff, right? Not like really old, but back when I was a child, my mom worked for the post office in Brewster.
Okay.
And she would run the mail route, about 100 miles a day, which she would run. And I believe she had some old beaters. I don't really remember a whole lot, but I believe she had some old beaters along the way. Then somewhere along the lines, Subaru, back in the day, I believe they stopped making them in 99 or 2000. They made the right-hand drive Subarus for postal carriers, right? But you had to prove you worked for the post office.
That's tight.
And so I think that was one of her first Subarus. My first experience with a Subaru was a 95 Subaru Legacy L, I think it was. It was
the wagon,
kind of like right before they became the Outbacks.
Yeah, I remember those.
And so it was right-hand drive, and that was her first car, her first right-hand drive for her postal job. And so that was, again, my first experience into Subarus. 4 years later, she found out that they were going to stop making them. And she still worked for the post office. And she's like, I have to get another one before they stop making them, because she called it Old Red because it was red. And she was looking at that one in 95, and it had 200,000 miles on it by this time. Because again, 100 miles a day for your postal route, right? Mm-hmm. That adds up quick.
Yeah.
And so she went and bought one of the last ones. I think there was like 3 down at the Subaru dealership in Wenatchee, 2 or 3 left.
That's
and
crazy.
She got one of the 3, and I think the other 2 went to some local postal carriers too.
Okay.
But yeah, by the time she retired, both of those vehicles had close to 500,000 miles on them each.
That's so sick.
So,
That
and
is
along
sick.
that journey, as I got older, they had their problems, knock sensors here and there,
Hmm.
and stuff. And I guess that's kind of where I started tinkering a little bit into the mechanical side with cars. Was kind of on her Subarus. Again, like knock sensor would go out, I'd replace it for her. I think she had some catalytic converters that were giving her problems, and that was a learning experience for me too, because you learn quick the aftermarket stuff is not what it's all cracked up to be. And so
That
again,
is so true.
right? It's just like, oh, it's cheap on the surface, but yeah, you're going to regret it later, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So I ran into those hurdles early. I think we bought some cheap cats. They wouldn't get rid of the PO420 code or whatever that code that comes up for that.
That's the one.
And so I think she ended up having to take it to Subaru and pay the money. And again, I was young. I tried to help where I could, but so that was my first venture into Subarus, I guess. And then I've had a couple cars along the way. I've had a Dodge Charger here.
Okay.
Oh gosh, a Dodge Caliber I had. Again, a few cars behind it, but my very first Subaru that I had was an '08
Oh,
Outback, and it was
nice.
a Outback no, not XT, I believe. So it had the
Yeah.
turbo with the
Heck yeah.
5-speed, and I loved the crap out of that car. I honestly, and I think I was watching your other couple of episodes, and I know you mentioned what a car you regret, right? And that was probably the car I regret getting rid of. I didn't know a lot mechanically.
Yeah.
I wish I would have kept it, and I wish I would have built it out. To be honest,
Did you buy that car brand new
no,
or okay? Was
it
it pretty clean when you got it?
it was honestly super clean. I mean,
Oh.
besides the normal, I guess, in the center console, the dog claw marks and the
Oh
leather,
yeah.
right? Because they're family vehicles, dogs. And besides that, it was super clean. I think it was completely stock, completely original. No one had modified it. I even went as far as like to buy the whole JDM
Front
replacement kit
clip.
for the stereo. No, for the
Oh
stereo,
yeah.
because in those they integrated the HVAC system into the stereo. So if you wanted to
Yeah.
change out the stereo, you couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. So you had to
So
swap the whole thing, right?
I
Like
had to buy the
literally.
JDM. Like it was from Japan, I believe, and so it wired in, and it allowed you to do doubled in, and took the HVAC system and plugged it in separately. But
That's
it wasn't
sick.
perfect. Things were backwards, but it worked, right? And I'm like, it was worth it. But again,
Yeah.
I did that stuff, and I'm like, I wish I would have kept it.
Now, uh how long did you have that car for?
Oh gosh, that one was probably 2 years, a year, 2 years.
Okay.
And again, it was had like I can't remember the exact mileage, maybe 120, 130. But it just was starting at the age where things were starting to fail. And again, I didn't know what I know now.
Mm-hmm.
And what I know now, I'm like, I should have kept that car because there was nothing wrong with it. And I
Yeah.
traded it into another dealership, and I traded it in on my very first WRX. It was a 2016 WRX,
Okay. Well,
brand
that's a
new
good
from the lot.
nice. Well, that's a good car, man. Uh,
It was a nice transition, but to get into the world of payments, right? Like I
oh,
really enjoyed that '08. I think I only paid like 70 grand. I think my payments were like $100.
oh yeah.
So then I could technically afford to put stuff into it, right? But then you jump into a new one, and then I was upwards of like what, $500 a month, somewhere around there.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fully with you on that. I don't really care what people do, but once I started looking at like retirement calculators
You
and
don't look at that now. It'll
well,
scare you, man. It'll scare you.
oh yeah. Well, it's just I'm a huge proponent of like I haven't paid a car. I've only had one car payment my whole life, and I sold that thing. I was like, okay, I want to pay off my school. I want to build up a down payment on a house.
Yeah.
Haven't had a car payment since, man. And it's pretty freeing when it's kind of like, okay, now I have extra money I can put into my retirement.
Yeah.
I can put it towards this other stuff.
No,
And
that totally makes sense.
I don't know if you're currently financing anything or not, but I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
my Outback is still, I think I owe like 3 years left on that.
Okay. I'm guessing you're probably a little bit lower now though, in terms of those payments.
The payment. I mean, no, payments are technically the same. I mean,
Oh, really?
my payments on the brand new Outback. I got it right before interest rates skyrocketed, though.
Okay.
So I got like 3.7%. So not horrible, not great, but not horrible.
Hmm.
But I think my payments were like 560 a month, something like that.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm all digging up into your
No, I
financials.
don't care. I ask away. I'm an open book. I really don't care.
Same. Okay, right on. Yeah, I'm curious about that Crosstrek that's in there somewhere. What was the deal with
That
that?
was there's an interesting story kind of behind that. So getting out of the 2008 Outback into
Hmm.
the 2016 WRX, I had that 2016 WRX. I think it was probably about another 2 years. So I
Okay.
had that one for probably about 2 years. Did a lot in it, and that's where I guess I kind of transitioned out of fast on-road stuff and the
Hmm.
WRX, and there was a little bit of a story behind that WRX.
Let's go.
There was a lot that went into that car. I met some really cool people. Oh gosh, I can't remember. There's someone over in Bellingham though that I ran into. I can't remember his name. I haven't met him. I haven't reached out to him or I touched base with him in a while, but that was back in my WRX days, and I did a whole front mount intercooler.
Okay.
I did a whole stage 2 tune, basically changed out intake, charge pipe, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, almost a complete stage 2.
Letting it
Did
breathe, man.
correct? Yeah, I know, and that was oh man, it was just so much fun.
It
You get
is,
that,
yeah.
yeah. And but again, those were the days where I was like, well, I mean, warranty, who cares?
Yeah.
But no, that was by tuned by Fat Body tuning out
Okay.
of California. And towards the end of that, they came out with that Snap Crackle Pop tune at the end. So it's not quite like a backfire, but they call it like an afterfire,
Yeah.
to where I think it just releases a slight bit of gas into the exhaust when you let off, and it does like a Snap Crackle Pop at the end. So
Okay.
yeah, so there was a lot that went into that car. And then I was over in Seattle, I believe it was Seattle area,
Yeah.
and it was snowing on the pass, and I had just put on extreme sport summer tires.
Oh,
It
wait,
was
hold on.
like ice skating rink
Is
in
that a
that car.
Dunlop? Is that a
Yeah.
Dunlop tire?
Hmm.
Dude, I
I
had those
loved
same
them.
tires.
They were amazing tires. They gripped so freaking good. They were
When it's
crazy.
hot. When it's hot
Yes.
outside.
Not when it's snowing and icing on the pass.
Yeah, they turn into
Correct.
bricks,
They
man.
do, and it wasn't
Oh.
fun. And I wasn't anything crazy. Like I wasn't
Hmm.
like flooring it. Was probably doing again both lanes going over that pass where we were probably doing maybe 20, 25.
Okay.
And I was in the fast lane. All the semis were in the slow lane. And we were just cruising along, and all of a sudden brakes in front of me.
Oh.
And again, we were just in a line, right? I couldn't go fast. I was just going the same speed everybody else, but I didn't leave enough room. And the crazy thing is, you just don't realize is that, especially on those extreme sports summer tires, is that you can't stop. And
Oh,
when I
no.
hit the brakes, even with ABS, I sped up.
Oh,
It
dude.
boggles my mind, but it's like I think I was stomped on the brakes or started braking about 25 miles an hour. And by the time I made impact with the other car in front of me, I was doing about 28.
Oh, no downshifting would have helped either at that point.
Oh, I don't think
Yeah.
so. I really don't. It was
Oh,
kind of heat
man.
of the moment thing too.
Yeah.
And so I did my best. I tried to veer into the snowbank, and
Hmm.
that bounced me kind of off the snowbank. No major contact between the cars,
Oh,
except
good.
for rim to rim. Crazy
Oh,
thing.
what?
And so it completely bent my whole front control arm in the WRX. And so driving down the road, the steering was like this going straight.
Hmm.
So I had to have it towed. I had it towed back to the dealership. And around that time, my ex was working for one of the dealerships over there. And so they were able to get me a really good deal on a Crosstrek.
Okay.
And they actually, I think they took my WRX in complete trade. I don't think they, yeah. And I actually used my They wanted me to use my insurance deductible, but pay for the repairs, and then they would take it in on trade. So that's kind of how it all worked out, and that's what got me into the 2018 Crosstrek.
Okay.
So that begins my Crosstrek story, and that ventures away from my fast times and my ticket days into my getting away from people and getting into the mountains days. And so, that's kind of what started that whole process. First picked that thing up, took it on a long road trip all the way down the coast, almost into California, I believe.
Okay.
Brand new car. That was fun to kind of break it in. And then I don't think it was too long after that, I started looking at aftermarket parts, started that whole process. And that was it. That was my first venture into kind of the off-roading scene in Subarus. Started with the puck lift. I think it was a ready lift. People gave me crap about it. You know what is what it is. I was on a budget.
Yeah, you start somewhere.
Correct. So I believe, honestly, and the crazy thing is I actually sold that car to middle school, used to be middle school principal, his daughter, and I see it every once in a while come back. And it's still on the 2-inch ready lift. It's still kicking.
What all did you do to it besides the lift? Was anything else? Or?
Basically just lifting tires and then skid plates. And that was basically it to that car.
That's honestly everything aside from that is just kind of gravy.
And I think when I dove in, I dove straight into tires. I just went straight to BFG KO2s. So that was quite the experience. And they're not the best in snow and ice, but they're great off-road. Didn't have any sidewall punctures.
I was just talking about that tire with Brandon. You might have met Brandon at the Subaru event at the expo.
Drives
the black 4-inch lifted SH Forester.
Correct, yep.
Yeah, he had run that tire for a long time. And, everybody talks trash about the KO2s. It's, they're heavy. They are heavy, but it's only because they're only LT. They don't sell them in a P metric.
Yep.
And when you compare apples to apples, they're actually a lightweight tire compared to if
you compare them to another light truck.
The question everybody's wondering is, well, why would you sell the Crosstrek and buy the Outback? So I'm guessing that the Wilderness came out and you were like, a turbocharged car that I can take off.
And what people don't understand, I mean, maybe they do, but I don't think people truly understand how much of a dog that 2-liter engine is.
It really is.
My gosh. And when you load it down with you and dogs and all your camping stuff and you're trying to pull a mountain pass, you're struggling to make it up just at speed limit.
Oh, yeah.
There was at times I think I had it floored just trying to keep up with everyone, and it was like 5,000 or 6,000 RPM, and that all the way up the mountain pass.
Yeah. Which
right?
They design, that engine is essentially what is in the Impreza. The Impreza is just a little daily driver commuter. And then you put heavier tires and smaller wheels. And
again, we're talking about how heavy those BFG KO2s. You throw them on a little 2-liter Crosstrek. Yeah, you're...
Absolutely.
Not fun. And so, there I was coming from technically an 08 XT to a WRX, so 2 turbos, right? And then straight into a 2-liter Crosstrek. So I was kind of an easy transition car, I guess, in between. It got my toes into the off-roading scene. But I guess what sparked my interest to get rid of it was, again, I kind of got it before the whole C word started.
Yeah.
And then that all happened, right? But then you couldn't get cars, you couldn't get parts, so then you saw used car prices skyrocket.
Yeah.
Right. And I wasn't here to make a profit, but I'm going to sell it for its current market value. I honestly think I sold that car for $26,000 with 50,000 miles on it, and I bought it for 28.
Dude, same thing happened to me.
Right. And I'm like, why would I not? And so at that time, with it being high, I was a positive $7,000. This is my chance. This is my opportunity. And so I was positive. I'm like, just do it. They just, like you said, they just came out with the Wilderness modeled Outbacks. I eyed them from the beginning, right? And I'm just like, here's my opportunity and my chance to get into one. And so I took it. I sold that car again to a friend of mine, took that money, that $7,000, and put it as a down payment on the Outback. Oh, I was going to say, it's funny because, again, I was watching your podcast with Michelle.
Oh, yeah.
And it was so funny because our VIN numbers were really close because we both ordered at the same time and they both came in at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, that's so sick. Did you guys know each other at that point?
I know.
Because I think we all met on that same trip.
Correct. I believe that first same trip where you guys met is where I first met Michelle as well.
Okay. And that's where I first met you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, that was a sick adventure. Had you considered at any point before the Outback, they make like the Crosstrek Sport with the 2.5. Had you eyed that at all, or eyed any of the Foresters, like an older XT or anything? Or
wouldn't be worth it in my opinion. Again, and it was really nice to have the space. I love the space, and here not too long ago, and we might get into this with the problems that I have had with my Outback. I was stuck in another loaner, and they put me in a 2024 Crosstrek Sport.
Okay.
It was fine. No, it was fine. It had the 2.5 because it was a sport, right? So the engine was fine, and I really don't mind the 2.5s. They're not horrible. Not enough space. I struggled, man, because my dogs take up the entire back seat. Yeah. I just get the little trunk, and so that tiny trunk and that Crosstrek, no, wasn't cutting it.
Yeah. Well, it's funny to me. I feel like the Crosstrek. Anybody that's purchased a Subaru for the first time in the last 5 to 6 years, the Crosstrek is their gateway drug. And
it is. It's very interesting.
Yeah, they have no idea how small it really is until
they move up.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's surprising because, again, my adventures with my Outback, I was put into another loaner and I was just put into a 25 Forester. Yeah. So I got to experience the brand new Forester. That has surprising amount of room in it. I was not quite as much as the Outback, but honestly, surprisingly way more than the Crosstrek.
I think Subaru has done a really good job, even in the smaller cars, of maximizing the space they do have.
Oh, they beat out the competition, I believe.
Oh, I think you're right. I remember. Yeah. So I sold them for a little while when I first moved back to the States, and I remember getting into like. Because when you're selling cars, you're also like, you've got your hands on the wheel of a bunch of other different things too.
Yeah.
And I remember being like, man, people paid money for this Honda. Like, this thing sucks. There's no room in it. And it would be like a comparable, a CRV or something like that. It's like, wait, what?
No, it's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I really like your car a lot. I remember meeting you on that trip. And you had all kinds of, the Outback. I remember you already had at that point a bunch of cool little, accessories that you'd bought to make it a little more functional for camping and stuff like that. I'm a fan.
I continue to say it's never done, and it never will be done.
Building cars is just like life. There's always more to do, always more to learn.
Correct. And and it's just like you think you're done and like, no, there's something else that you want to add, or you want this, or you want to do that, right? So
or you break something and you're like, well, I broke it. I might as well upgrade. Oh no.
And thankfully I have not. That I have run over something and broken. No, I have not.
Good. Let me ask you about the mods. I know you've probably gone through a few iterations of your mod list.
Correct. Yep. Some things have been swapped out. Yeah. Yes.
What are you sitting on currently for general mods, like wheels, tires, lift kit, and any other major mods that you've got on it?
I mean, I guess just start at the top. So, been through a couple different sets of tires. I guess the ones that came on, they were great. They did great in the winter. Those Geolanders, I believe they were. But then you start taking it off road, and then I started gouging the sidewalls. I couldn't. Me and sidewalls, man, it's a nightmare. It always sits in the back of my head. It's the last thing I want out there on the trail, right?
Yeah. You can't fix it.
No. I mean, especially. Oh my gosh, I think and I know I'm going to mention his name probably more than once, but Toe.
Okay. Yeah, dude. Toe, if you're
I know.
listening to this, you better get on here.
I if you can get him on, I'll pat you on the back.
Our German brother.
But I know, I love him dearly.
Same.
He's the greatest guy.
I really like him.
He's kind of changed a little bit. But when I first met Toe, he was a go-getter. He would take that Crosstrek and push that freaking Crosstrek to its limits. And I made the mistake. And I when I first made friends with him, I told him, I was like, I'll go anywhere you take that Crosstrek, I will go. Man, I almost regret it. There's almost times I'm just like, what did I get myself into? Because oh man, I have some stories. But yeah, the first sidewall damage was he took me up above, I think it was above Cleellum, and he took me on this mine trail. Is all I can explain it. Up behind someone's house. You go up there, you go across a bridge, and you go by someone's, it looks like their driveway, and then it turns into this crazy switchback straight up this mountain. And I can't remember how many miles, but yeah, stock tires still. I even think I didn't have a lift yet. And here we are taking this brand new car up here, right? And he didn't care. He pushed that Crosstrek to its limits. I loved it.
Yeah. And he still got it.
I know. I'm very impressed. But yeah, I went up there and started slicing sidewalls, and then that was the first time, I think, right? And it was the craziest time for it to happen. Right on the middle of this shelf road, I'm crawling over rocks, cliff on this side. I mean, yeah, I can't go anywhere on that side. All of a sudden, I'm like, my steering wheel doesn't turn. And so that Outback has electronic power steering, and the power steering overheated.
Oh,
it overheated the motor of the power steering. And I've never heard of that. The first time it's happened to me since.
What?
And so here I was, cliff road. My dogs are in the back seat. I got all my stuff. Toes ahead of me, and I'm just like, I can't do anything. I literally, it's like I would have to stand on the steering wheel to make it turn, right? Because no power steering. Mm-hmm. And I'm just, what do you do? Like, I'm up here in the middle of nowhere. I can't. How do I get out of here? So I think let it sit there for a minute. Open the hood. Try to let it cool down. I think it eventually started working after it cooled down, and then I just backed down, and Toe went ahead. And I'm kind of glad I didn't follow because he said it got up there, and it was just a complete. The road was all gone, and there was nowhere to turn around. And he's like, if you would have come up here, I don't think we would have both got turned around. So I was down there waiting for him, and then I heard that. But yeah, that was the first time I had a little bit of an issue with the car. Nothing major; it fixed itself. And then that's sidewall damage on the tires.
Oh, dude!
And then that's what prompted me to get new tires. And my first set of tires were Toyos.
Okay, open country AT3s.
Yep.
It's a great
Which
tire.
Were great tires. Loved them. Great on-road tire. Great, I would like to say, somewhat mild to slightly aggressive off-road.
That's where I would
they look good. But again, I had sidewall damage problems.
Mm-hmm.
So I would constantly, I don't think there was enough, to me, there wasn't enough side lugs.
It's just like mild molding built into the design of the tire. You're 100% right. And
also what I found, when I would air down, they would squish a lot where it made contact. So that sidewall that squished out, that would constantly get, assaulted by rocks.
Yeah. Which is normal. But
correct.
You
kind of want a stiffer sidewall when you air down. You don't want that to stretch out and stick out and get hit by rocks and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Depending on what you're doing, that's a good tip for people.
So yeah, keep that in mind. But that was my next tire. That was my next adventure, I think. And I think right when I transitioned into those Toyo tires is right when I bought Ironman suspension. So I kind of did both of those at the same exact time, I believe. There's a whole story behind that too.
Are you still running the Toyos, or have you switched again?
No. So again, took those Toyos on crazy adventures. And again, this is insane. I made the mistake of saying I'd follow Toe. Told you it'd be brought up a couple times, get into the crazy adventures. But yeah, then I put those Toyos on. First off-road adventure with those, straight into Naches Pass.
Oh, dude. You don't
Correct.
even have to say anything to me, but explain to other
Correct.
people what's up.
We'll just put it this way. We skipped the very beginning section. And I don't know, I'd never know what to expect following Toa into these crazy adventures. But pulled into the first beginning section, what do you see at the very top? You see a Jeep Cherokee, an older Jeep, like Grand Cherokee or Jeep Cherokee.
Yeah.
Completely
I've got
stuck.
one. Yeah.
And it was, I think it was lifted. It had, I swear it was bigger than 30 tires on it. And it's up there on this hill and it's stuck. And I'm just like, I look at this and we're literally on our way up and we come across that and we're like, no.
Yeah.
So I think we back out of there and we go around. For people that don't know, like you said, Naches Trail, I believe, is a Jeep Badge of Honor trail.
I don't actually know. I've never
I
done
believe it is.
Okay. The topography out in like the Naches area is like, it's not to be messed around with. Like it's serious business.
No, it's not. And the looks that we got from people in their Toyotas and their Jeeps was, yeah, they were just like, you brought that out here sort of thing. But yeah, I think again, we skipped that first little section and we went around and there's multiple places you can enter along the route and there's multiple places you can kind of exit along the route. But we stuck our noses in there and plowed through it. And then again, brand new Toyo tires come out of there, sidewall damage.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
Can you kind of describe to people what some of the rocks and just what it looks like there? Like what the, just what they'd be looking at if they showed up?
There's muddy spots. There's the bins are crazy. I don't know how they get some of these full-size trucks through there. I toured a Tacoma or like 4Runner. I believe you're pushing your luck because I was pushing my luck with the Outback and I'm shoving my nose up into the brush, stopping, yanking the steering wheel just to go around a giant tree stump. Yeah. Right. And so there's these crazy corners, you're going around, rocks everywhere, very narrow in spots. There was a bridge we came across, I believe, that the lip to get onto this bridge, I think, again, it might not be good to scale there, but I think it was like a good 1.5 feet.
Holy crap.
And I come to this and I'm just like, I'm kind of done. To's like, nope, we're doing it. And so he goes and pulls logs out and we're shoving logs into the beginning of this bridge. And this bridge is rickety out there.
Yeah.
And I think I can't remember if that's the first time he had to use his winch or not. But it might have been, it might not have been, but yeah, he got up on there and then he got across that little bridge section. Then I popped up there and got all across the little bridge section and there's tree roots everywhere. That, I guess, that is probably the most prominent thing in Naches Trail is massive tree roots.
Oh, there's everything I've ever seen in that area is always, like you said, a lot of tree roots and a lot of the rocks are sharp.
Yeah, sharp and they're big and they're stuck in the ground. And so if you hit one of those, it doesn't budge.
Exactly. It's not going anywhere. Your tire, on the other hand, is going to go somewhere.
Your tire will be the one to make the compromise and move. Yeah, correct.
Exactly. It's just physics.
It's just the way the world works, unfortunately. So yeah, and then there was, I think the next spot we came across, the next major spot, I think Joe actually got stuck. He got caught up. I think there was a root that was sticking up. I mean, again, the roots were massive and it got stuck kind of got pinned up between, I guess, the fender and his tire and got wedged up in there.
Oh,
couldn't go forward, couldn't go back.
Yeah.
And so he was stuck. So luckily he had a winch. And so he pulled himself out. And then I did the same section, but again, so the Crosstrek's a little bit shorter, the Outback's longer, so different wheelbase. Didn't really have an issue. Kind of went right through it.
Okay.
And so, made it through there and out of there. And the only damage was me sidewall damage. And Toe lost a rock rail.
Oh, okay.
Ripped off the rock rail. Correct.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Pulled off a whole rock slide.
Yeah, it was hanging on sideways, and then as soon as we popped out onto one of the major roads there, I think we hooked it onto my hitch.
Okay.
Tried to pull it back into place, which just ripped it off.
Ripped.
Correct. And I ended up putting it in because he didn't have anywhere to put it, and I had my rooftop box at the time, so I managed to barely fit it in my rooftop box, and so I ended up bringing that thing home. So yeah, man. That was fun.
So you're not running those tires anymore, I presume.
No, but I ran them for a long time. Quite a bit of sidewall damage throughout the several thousand miles that I had them. I think I put them on at around 25,000 miles that I can remember on the car, and then I think I just took them off. Literally just took them off. 60? I think I have 60,000. Well, I have a little bit more now than 60, but I took them off at 60. So what was that, like 30 some 40,000 miles on them?
Well, that's not bad. They don't have they don't have a super aggressive sidewall, but it seems like you can beat the piss out of the sidewalls, and they will puncture eventually, but they're not
There
bad.
were some deep holes, man. I don't know how they didn't lose air. I looked at that and I peeled open the tire, and I'm like, if I went to a tire shop, they would probably tell me that is not safe. And I just put the little flat back and just said, I don't see that. And that was just not on one. That was on several of them.
Yeah.
So and then yes, I did switch out of those, and I'm glad I did. And praise to Carrie and Milton. They were able to get me into an amazing set of Milestar Patagonias.
AT Pros, baby.
Correct, and that has been life changing. We'll put it that way, because those Toyos. Now that I've been to these, they were soft and squishy. These. I feel like I'm on rails, right?
Exactly. And they're still not that heavy. I don't know how.
No, they're not.
Dude, I don't know how. Milestar must have like a deal with Satan or something to make magically light tires. I don't know what it is, but it's impressive.
And I think they're either the same lightness or lighter, maybe even the Toyos that I had. But I just cannot believe it. I just got done doing about a 1,200 mile trip off road with Michelle, Toe, and Robin.
Okay.
Robin, she's a friend of Toe's, and she drives a lifted Jeep Wrangler.
Okay. I don't think I've met her yet, but
probably not. No, she's super nice lady.
Good crew of people there, man.
Good crowd. And so I was able to put those Milestars to their test, and they outperform my greatest expectations.
Yeah.
I was going down roads that I would be nervous going down with the Toyos. Again, in my head, I always worry about sidewall damage. And I always am looking and like constantly scanning the road for rocks that I could possibly down. Okay, I don't want to have to stop and change a tire, right? That's not fun.
Yeah, no thanks.
And I this is hard for me to admit, but I rely heavily on other people for recovery. I carry nothing, which people will probably give me crap about. But I know my limits, and my thought process is, if I'm going in somewhere, if I don't think I can make it out of there, I don't go in. If I go alone.
Yeah, when it sounds like when you're doing the stupid stuff, it's usually with somebody else.
Correct, because they have the recovery gear.
Yeah.
So again, I just have my stock jack, so I'd probably have I have it lifted now, and I can't even get this thing off the ground with my floor jack now.
Yeah.
So again, if I'm off road and I'm like, I don't even know what to use. Like, I don't like bottle jacks. I don't like, you can't really use a high lift jack really with Subarus. And so I'm like, I don't have a place to put one of these fancy off-road 50, 60 pound jacks.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, no.
Again, I don't know how I got up onto this, but there was a question there somewhere.
It's applicable. It tracks.
Yeah. So that's how I got into the Milestar Patagonias. And anyway, got away from those. But yeah, those. If anybody is looking for a tire, I will highly recommend the Milestar Patagonias.
Yeah.
And I put them through heck. I tell you, and they performed no sidewall damage, and I'm flying down roads that are covered in rocks. No issue. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
get out and look, and you'll see maybe a spot on the side where it might have hit a rock, but
Yeah.
nothing.
Well, I think it's funny too because people would consider Milestar like an off-brand. They're still like a new company, and people
Correct.
still don't
And
respect them
so,
yet.
no, and I will say this: I've been trying to put their name out there
Mm-hmm.
in on Facebook and stuff. I'm part of a couple forums, and so every chance I get, I'll throw their name out there when people are looking for tires. And I've gotten some pushback, right? Like I've
Yeah,
gotten some.
same.
This person's like, I had one person reply like, "Oh, those are just cheap Chinese brand tires," and you
They're
go to
made in
their
the
website.
U.S.
No, you go to the website. Yeah, and it says
Mm-hmm.
clearly made in the USA. And I posted that. I'm not mean, right? I just posted that. And then I go back later and you look at that post and it's like, yeah, this you posted to somebody that deleted their post. And then I think one of the latest criticisms I got, which I have looked into it, which I think is true. They're actually made by Nanking, so
Probably
technically it's a
Nankang or
Chinese company, I think, or something. Japan. I don't know. I don't want to get too involved in that, but yeah, someone did post that, and I did look into it, and some of it's legitimate. But again, you take the tires that I've had, right? The Toyos,
mm-hmm.
the Geolanders, and the BFG KO2s, and these tires to me outperform all of those.
Yeah.
You say they're made by a weird company, and I'm like, I don't care. I can tell you what
Yeah.
performs, and those perform.
You know, I was just talking. So the episode that just came out today with Chris, we kind of talked about that a little bit of like, brand name is cool, but it really doesn't matter. I don't care where it's made. I don't care who makes it. If it works, it works.
Correct.
And I think another thing is you can spend, $10,000 on all these different upgrades and stuff, but finding a tire that works for the terrain in the region that you're in is, in my opinion, one of the most important things you can do.
Yeah. Now I will say there's one downfall.
All
And
right, let's go.
my downfall with them, and it's not crazy, it's not horrible. They're on the verge to me of almost having the spacing between lugs of mud terrain. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I find a lot is I collect rocks like crazy. And so out on the trail, I'm constantly have to tell the people behind me, like, do not follow close when we get onto
Yeah.
the pavement, because like here I am miles down the road. I'm still flinging out rocks, right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
so that bothers me a little bit. That's the one downfall about them.
Yeah. There's all there. You can have 4 out of the 5 benefits of tires. You can never have all 5.
Correct. Unfortunately, there's going to be something that you don't like, and if
Yeah.
that's the only thing that I don't like so far, I'll deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember the last time when I was looking at Derek's the other day, I can't remember if they have stone ejectors in between the lugs or not, but
I don't think so, but again, I could be wrong.
okay.
But the thing is, like, I'll go out on the trail, I'll come home 60, 65 miles an hour. I'll go to work for a week, and I still see just rocks just caked
Oh
in there.
yeah.
And you try to peel them out of it? No, you're not getting that
They're in
sucker out of
there.
there. Correct.
And you
It'll
start
come
to
out
shave them
eventually.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start to shave them down and they're flush
Yeah.
with the tread.
And I'm just like, it'll come out eventually. I mean, yeah, maybe it's just extra grip on the ice, maybe.
There you go. Well, let me ask you this. What are you on stock wheels, and are those 245, 65, 17s?
So yes, and so again, I'll be a little controversial. So here, let me put it this way. I guess, and maybe it's because I don't have a lot of extra money to spend, and so I like to spend my money where it counts. I guess I'll put it in that context. So when I had my Crosstrek, that limited model came with 17-inch rims.
Okay.
But with the Crosstrek, it had smaller brakes, right? So it allowed you to go down in tire size and get a bigger sidewall. And so I did do that. I think I went to Methods. I think the standard what everyone goes with, the Method wheels. And so I did.
Yeah,
I think I went
they're
down to a
good.
15-inch rim and got the bigger sidewall for off-roading. But with the Outback, especially with the Wilderness Edition, it comes with the smallest rim you can put on it.
Yeah, it's a big brake setup on
So
those.
correct, yeah. And so I think it's double pot in the front and single pot in the rear, but those front brakes are big. And so it's 17-inch rim is the smallest rim you can put on it. And so in my head, I struggle spending money on rims if it doesn't serve a purpose. And again, I get there's aesthetics, right? And everyone has their own opinion. And hey, you know what? If you got the money and you want to spend money on rims and have it look good, awesome. I'll spend my money where it counts into my overlanding setup. And then I don't worry about if they get beat up.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so I do have stock rims. They are beat up. There's some nice gouges in them. And then yeah, so I did upgrade tire size, and I believe I instantly did tire size right when I got away from the Geolanders.
Okay.
I went straight to 245, 65, 17s.
Okay. Okay, two things. Number one, the stock wheels on those are tough. They're really
They
tough.
are. And crazy thing people probably don't know is, and I don't, maybe not all of them, but most of Subaru's rims are made by Inkle.
Yeah.
Or Inke,
yeah.
however you want to say it, right?
Yeah.
So you look at the back of those stock Wilderness rims,
They're
they say
stamped.
Inke on them. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And they're
Yeah.
nice rims. I'm just like, why would I get rid of them? And
Yeah.
to me, I guess they remind me of the old Subaru rims, the old days. I want to
Like
say on the Justies or something. That weird style. Correct. It reminds me a little bit of going back in the day.
Oh, dude. Just a little bit before the Subarus that your mom would have purchased for the Postal Service.
Yeah.
They had a wheel on the first gen Legacies that is almost identical in design. I think it's the same, like 5 or 6 spoke.
Okay.
Very like mild, no aggressive styling or anything.
Basic.
And I love that wheel, man. It's just, it's clean. It doesn't have the goofy machined face on it or anything. It looks
and I
really
think
good.
you mentioned this for Michelle's interview, those Crosstrek rims. Oh,
we hated.
My Lord. I call them starfish rims, and I couldn't wait to get rid of them. They were horrible.
You know what? That wheel is actually 18-inch. It's not 17.
Correct. You are right. So that's, that limited came with 18s.
It looks like some freaking,
so bad.
Some, what is it? Some Southern Texas, like goofy slab city type, I don't know. I just can't hang with the Patrick Starfish.
I want to know what the person was taking when he designed those.
Watching SpongeBob while microdosing, maybe.
Correct. I've heard of what was made when they made Disney movies and stuff. So I want to know what he was on when he was making Crosstrek rims.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's some like, what's that place? Port Arthur or whatever, where Paul Wall is from in Texas, where they've all got like the big spinny rims and stuff.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Well, that makes sense. Man.
But yeah, I think me and Michelle talked about that also, where, I remember back, 08 to 14 when the STIs came with like forged BBS wheels.
Yeah.
You'd spend anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 to get forged BBS wheels.
Correct. If you went and found from that manufacturer, you were going to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, and these kids would take their forged BBS wheels and buy some garbage like XXR Hot Boy wheels that weighed twice as much and were half as strong,
Or complete opposite, weighed half as much and were half as strong.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh man, what a fiasco. Any problems fitting the 245/65 on your car?
No. And I believe there's some people out there that say rubbing, and I guess different tire manufacturers have different tolerances.
100%.
But in my experience from the Toyos, I think, to all of them, I think those would all fit with even without lifting the Wilderness Edition. Now, if you are going down to like 8.7, maybe they might do some rubbing, but in my experience, the people that I've told, hey, try it, shouldn't have any rubbing. No one's had any rubbing with the 245/65s.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I see it on the splash guards sometimes, and people consider that rubbing. And I'm like, hey, if it doesn't damage the tire, it's not considered rubbing.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, I can go full lock every direction, and I have zero rubbing. And that was even before the lift, and after lift, no rubbing.
Okay. Well, and I think too, you have a higher offset. You're running stock wheels. When you start to bring them out a little bit, people are running plus 15s or plus 30s or whatever it is that a lot of the 17-inch methods and Black Rhinos are. I think that'll contribute to the rubbing a little bit. So
Yeah, you bring that tire out, you bring it closer. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Now, I will say in the rear, there's not a lot of space left, right? Like, I think I swear there's probably only half an inch between that fabric liner and that wheel in the rear. And the rear wheel doesn't turn, so it's stationary, but it does move up and down. But yeah, if it went forward or back any direction, it would probably rub.
Yeah. Well, it looks like it's working.
It works great. Yeah, no problems here. I love them. Yeah, 240 again. If you're looking for a set of tires, I say go straight to 245 65s for further Outbacks, and even I think the Forester Wildernesses too. I think they can go straight to those.
Mm-hmm. Any because there is a point with our cars where you run out of torque. You know, because people are like, oh, well, I've got this huge lift and I cut the fenders and all this stuff, so now I can fit 31s. Well, yeah, maybe you can fit 31s, but the motor and the transmission and the diffs are not really going to give you a whole lot of help. Do you feel like that size is still pretty manageable in terms of power?
With the Outback, you don't notice. You just don't. I mean, I'll put it this way, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I was coming back home from one of my trips fully loaded. I mean, I had dogs in the back seat. I had all my camping gear. And I think the last time I weighed my Outback fully loaded with all my camping gear, I was maybe 100 pounds from 5,000.
Oh, okay.
So
it's a big boy.
I was close to 5,000 pounds with all my camping stuff, with everything loaded. And it was a while ago. I was coming back from one of my trips, and I don't think people really understand how fast the Outback Wilderness is. There was a WRX. I can't remember exactly the year, but it was just being dumb. I think it would. Anyway, they got in front of me and they were slowing down, and I'm like, I don't stand for BS, and I just don't want to be around it. So I usually just try to get away from it. And I think I floored it, man. I floored it, and I passed this WRX, and I think by the time I got around him, I think I looked down. I might have. Yeah, we probably won't say. And so
this was on a closed course, of course.
Correct. Closed track. Yep. No laws were broken here. But I was doing a decent speed getting around him, and I guess here's another thing people don't know in Washington State. And yes, I do have a slight accent. My Washingtonian accent.
Let's go.
In Washington State, according to the RCWs, because I had to fight these a lot when I had my WRX in my beginning days in my driving. In the Washington State law, there is no speed when passing on a single lane highway.
Okay. I knew that.
No, and so some states, I think you're allowed to do 5 over. Some states they actually have in there none over. But in the state of Washington, there is no set speed limit when passing. And I've gotten out a couple of tickets because of that. But where they will get you is if you did it unsafely, or if you endangered, or if they think you're reckless or something like that. They may try to get you on that. But yeah, according to RCW, there is no speed limit when passing. So I was passing that car, that WRX.
They got a big engine in them, dude. It's the 2.4 DIT. It's a big engine. I don't
think people underestimate these things.
Yeah.
And so I passed that WRX, and then he apparently didn't like it. And so he caught back up to me, and I was just like, let's go, buddy. And so I floored it, and he could not pass me. He couldn't.
Dude.
And I was just like, here I am, fully loaded, 5,000 pounds, in a Outback Wilderness that's lifted with, we're talking AT tires, and here a WRX can't get around me.
Yeah.
Right? People underestimate the power in these Outbacks.
And this, for all the hate that the CVTs get, they shift faster than any human being could ever shift.
Correct. And I guess if you think about it, how they look at it, they're always in the correct gear ratio, and they always keep you in peak power band, technically.
Yeah, there's never any lag in the turbo spooling.
Correct. So think about that, where a normal car has to shift, you lose those few seconds. But if you, and I think I've seen people do it, to get most newer Subarus to operate like a true CVT, you can power brake them from takeoff.
Okay.
And when you do that, they won't shift. They will just go straight to basically peak power band and stay
Okay.
there and act like a CVT.
Okay.
But if
I
you
mean, I
just
know
take off from a normal stop, they will,
yeah.
they will shift,
Yeah.
pretend to shift.
I know you can do like, what is it, two-step or whatever that constantly keeps the turbos spooling or something like that. I don't know a whole lot about
Possibly.
tuning, but
I don't know a whole two-step. I love my manuals. I want a manual again maybe someday, and I think more kids should learn how to drive manuals.
Agreed.
But again, they're going away, right? I don't even, does Subaru even offer one besides the WRX? No.
The BRZ and the
BRZ.
WRX. That's all we got. I know Acura makes a 6-speed manual. I can't remember which model it is, but there's not a lot of them.
Kind of surprised the new Taco has a 6-speed manual in it, as an option. Yeah.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, they come with an option, but now I don't think you can get a certain engine option when you do that. I think you can't get the hybrid system maybe when you do that, but yeah, they still offer a 6-speed.
Well, I love it.
Correct. Yeah, I think more manufacturers should at least offer, even if you don't sell it, at least make it offering.
Yeah, it's hard with all the regulations around the fuel economy, because you can't beat a CVT when it comes to fuel economy. That's how they're able to do what they're doing. But hey, let me ask you a little bit about your lift kit without being too defamatory. Can you kind of share your initial or just kind of how that whole process has gone and what you're running right now?
Yeah, so that's kind of a whole story. And again, I'm not trying to slam anybody. And I'll say this: they made it right in the end, which is what I can say speaks volumes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I started out with Ironman, 2-inch Spec Cs.
Okay, so you did the Spec C.
Correct, yeah. So I went straight to Spec C, and again, that was a recommendation from Joe because I think that's what he was running.
Okay.
Went straight to Spec C because I was already kind of experiencing some sagging in the rear end just from loading my camping stuff, right? So I'm like, I need the extra weight, and I thought about it. I'm like, I live in a house that has a wood stove. I might eventually hook a trailer. I went and got a hitch on it, so I need the extra capacity in the back.
Let's go, dude.
Right. So I'm like, I might end up going and getting some firewood and pulling a trailer and doing a little bit of stuff like that with it. Nothing crazy, but so I needed the extra weight capacity in the back. And I think was an extra 660 pounds overload springs, I think is what they quoted those as.
I actually can't remember. I should do more research.
I want to say it was 660 pounds, but I again take it with a grain of salt, I guess.
That actually sounds right.
I think that's what it was. So yeah, started off with those. Kind of started great, and then it went into the rear end sagging, right? And so I kind of dealt with that whole process. I don't really think I looked a whole bunch into it. I can tell a friend of mine, Josh. I was, I think, talking to somebody else that had reached out to Ironman, and I guess they were noticing that the bushings. The bushings in those rear shocks were collapsing.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they said the sagging was coming from in the rear.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was sent a new set of rear shocks to replace those because I took pictures and I was able to prove that they were collapsing. Replaced the rear shocks, gave me back the height that I lost, and then not quite another year went on with those new ones, and they were sagging again. Again, I'm one to use my vehicle, right? Like you might have someone out there that puts these Ironman suspension on, and it's a grocery getter, right? And they don't put it through its paces, and you never weigh it down. You never put it to that 660 pound overload that they're rated for. So you never experience the problem sometimes. And so I was eventually experiencing the sagging in the rear end again, and that's when I think we started the whole Overland Expo thing. And I think I was in talks with Ironman a little bit. And that's right when I discovered that one of the replacement rear shocks, besides the sagging, completely was leaking. So it had leaked all its oil out, right? And so I was in talks with them trying to get one before I made the 2,000-mile round trip all the way down to Redmond, Oregon. And they couldn't get it to me in time, and it made me a little frustrated. And so I drove all the way down there to Redmond, Oregon on a completely blown shock.
Oh man.
I made it work, and it wasn't crazy. And that's when I held my old ones. And so even though the bushing was collapsed, I'm like, it's probably better than completely blown. So I threw it in the car to take with, just in case things got wonky on the highway.
Mm-hmm.
I've never experienced a blown shock, so I really don't know what to expect.
Yeah, if it was really bad, you might have a problem, but and for some people, it's probably a great setup. But I think people need to realize like $1,500 for a whole suspension setup is not a lot of money.
It's really not for a complete strut assembly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you've seen their prices kind of come down over time. I think when I bought mine, I think I originally paid $1,300, and that was with a discount.
Okay.
And now you look at them, what, $800-900 for the complete set. So
yeah, and I think it just, when you look at things like Bilstein or anybody else that's out there producing shocks or springs, and you realize if there's enough margin in them to sell them at $1,000, it probably is best served for a grocery getter or light off-roading.
But that's not what they advertise it as, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right.
I guess here's my problem. I was, again, I came from puck lifts, right? And I was always told that's not a true suspension lift. Right. By a lot of people. They're like, no, that's just a leveling kit. That's not a true suspension lift. That's whatever. You're lying to yourself, right?
I can't.
And so that's when I was like, no, I want to have a true suspension kit. And so at that time, I believe, I don't know how new they were, but that's what everyone recommended. Everyone's like, no, get Ironman, right? And so that's the path that I took. Because I wanted a true suspension. I wanted to get away from puck lifts and so that's the direction that I went. And again, in the end, they made it right. I'm not using them anymore. I have a bit of an Ironman graveyard in my garage. My set's not the only set that's in there. I'll say that. So transitioned away from those, and then was at Overland Expo, was talking to Rally Tech, and was over there, saw what they had on display, got to chatting with them a little bit, and was still a little unsure on kind of what I wanted to do. But I did end up ordering the overload springs, the 1-inch overload springs for the Outback Wilderness. Perfect. And I believe it's for the 22 to 25 model year.
Okay.
Now I think that probably will change with the new one because that's completely different setup. But yeah, so I ended up ordering the overload springs that were an inch lift on top of stock. And then after I got them, I'm like, I'm still sitting here debating on what I'm going to do. Like, I don't really know how I want to install them because I experienced some issues with the Ironmans in the front going over large bumps and stuff. I would feel like there was almost too much spring in the front for what I had. A lot of people running full bumpers, metal bumpers, winches on the front. Like, I don't have any of that. So I don't have all that extra weight in the front. So I felt like when I would go over a large bump, the spring weight was almost too much for the front.
Yeah.
And so here I am. I'm again, the project's never finished. I'm experimenting a little bit, even with the new suspension. Because I'm not afraid of it like I was. Now that I've been into this scene and gone through multiple Subarus and I help other people fix their cars. Shoot, I have a lady at work that drives a limited Forester. I think it's a 23. Okay. I do all our oil changes again. So here I am doing other people's maintenance. And I do all my own maintenance. I do all my front and rear diffs. I do my own oil changes. I do everything.
Are you planning to just run, or currently are you running just the springs with stock Subaru struts?
Back to that, yes. So I got off a little bit of a tangent there. Sorry.
You're good.
So yes, I'm experimenting a little bit. So I ended up keeping stock struts front and rear, adding the overload springs in the rear. I have the overload springs for the front because it kind of came as a kit.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't install them. And
Okay.
I will lie to myself a little bit and be like, well, I just didn't want to do them because I want to try it out. But springs scare me.
Oh, no, I get it.
Right. And so I was the rear ones, they have multiple, I guess, circular
coils.
points that you can correct coils that you can attach the spring compressor to. But those fronts,
the fronts, not so much.
2 spots. And when you compress them, they're all cattywampus, right? So I'm like, I started doing it. I'm like, you know what? I will wait on this. Let's install them as is to see how they are. And so I ended up doing a 1.5 inch top head spacer on the front with stock springs.
Perfect.
And that
I think that's
correct, because I don't have the extra weight in the front. And so if I ever do add the front bumper and the winch, I have the overload springs that I can add. And it's actually even. So I did the overload springs in the rear, not in the front. 1.5 inch spacer, Rallytech spacer on the front, 1.5 inch Rallytech spacer on the rear. And I did a little bit more in the rear because when I do load it down, I do have about a half inch to almost of an inch of squat, even with the Rallytech.
Man,
but that brings it down to about even where the front is. So when it is loaded, it looks even. When it's unloaded, it looks slightly lifted in the back.
And that's exactly how they're supposed to work. That's perfect. Yeah.
No, I love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, I'm really glad you brought that whole thing up when you were talking about switching over to a true suspension lift. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to yell and scream about how, because when people think of spacer lifts, they're coming from the 4x4 world and they think that it's the same thing as like a body lift on like a Toyota, which
I've never been from the four-wheel drive world, so I really don't know what a spacer lift is on those.
Let me explain it to you real quick, just so you know how ridiculous it is that people compare it in the Subaru community. Body on frame trucks and SUVs, they literally, you can unbolt the body and lift it off of the frame.
Interesting.
And that's what they're doing. They're just literally spacing the body up off the frame of the vehicle. But Subarus don't have a separate frame and body. It's a unibody.
Yeah.
And I get so pissed when I hear people, making somebody feel stupid for using a spacer lift, because it's not the same thing at all. Technically it is a suspension lift because it's a contained suspension piece. All you're doing is just adding length to it,
because you have the front and rear subframes basically, and you're putting that on top of the strut, which is, and a lot, like even like what RAV4s don't even have, that I notice have struts. They have a shock, but then their spring is separate. Subaru has the strut.
Yeah, it's a completely different setup. And so if anybody's listening to this, I want them to just not listen to the stupid hype. And because there's literally nothing wrong with running spacer lifts. I've been running them for a decade. Love them. They're the most reliable way to lift a car. Yeah. And if you need overload springs, you need overload springs, but that's a completely different conversation.
Yeah.
So,
and here's something else I learned also. This is mind-boggling that I learned at Overland Expo down there. Everyone praised how tough these stock Outback Wilderness struts are.
They are, dude.
People don't. Really I didn't realize it.
6-speed manual, 2012 Outback. Love that car. I just swapped out a top hat because the bearing was starting to get old. While I'm swapping the top hat out, I pull the strut apart. Speaking of springs and being a little nervous and scared,
that was nerve-wracking.
Dude, I pull the thing off. These are OEM struts from. Technically, they would have been born in 2011 if it was model year 212. Yeah. And the strut still had full pressure, no sagging, no problems whatsoever. And I was like, well, this is going straight back in the way it came out. This is awesome. So I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a good thing for people to realize. It's the same thing as like the BBS forged wheels versus the aftermarket stuff, man. Like,
correct.
It's great, dude.
Yeah, people, again, they don't realize it's made by a really good manufacturer. So yeah, people, again, I learned that. And so and luckily I still had my stock suspension. I left it in the garage. It had, 2 years, 3 years of dust?
Yeah, maybe 1,000 miles or something.
Correct. Well, I think when I swapped it out, I think it was 20 or 25,000 miles. But yeah, low
freshly
mileage.
Broken in.
Correct. So they were basically brand new. I just had to give them a quick scrub down from the last time, from the mud bath I gave them last time.
Michelle mentioned that. I don't know if you heard that part of our conversation, but she said, if you're going to upgrade your suspension, don't make the mistake I did. Keep your OEM suspension because it really is good, and you might want it.
And I've heard this from a lot of people. I have another friend, Kim. I know Kim. Yeah, Kim. She went through Ironman suspension debacle also, and I think she ended up doing Top Hat Spacers, Rally Tech. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but she got rid of her OEM parts. I think with her skid plates, I think there's some structural like brackets underneath that I think with a certain skid plate brand you actually remove them, and the other skid plate brand you don't. Okay. And so she switched brands, and so she needed those plates again, but she got rid of them. So again, another instance of keep your OEM parts.
Yeah, and she actually, if I remember correctly, she went through multiple suspension lifts.
Oh gosh, I feel so bad for her.
Same. And then somebody broke into their cars and stole a bunch of stuff. That's also really horrible.
Chad's taco even got stolen for weeks.
That's what happened. Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yeah. I think her car got broken into, I think, and then the taco got stolen.
For the record, if you steal cars, I hope you accidentally crash.
It's not okay. I mean, people work hard for their stuff.
Exactly.
And I think when they found that Toyota, they were actually in the process of removing the rack on top.
Dude, I can't with all that stuff. And we coddle these adults, and it's like, no, these are people who need to, because you can't force people to help themselves, but you can force them to follow the law. And breaking in and stealing people's stuff is against the law.
Again, that costs. And then, I mean, people, correct. And people, you don't know what kind of life that person's living, right? Like they could be in not a great position in life, and all of a sudden they come out to a broken window and all their stuff stolen. That could throw them over the edge, right? So you just don't know. Yeah, you don't know that person's life, and just don't do it. It's not a nice thing to do.
Oh, I agree. And I get it, man. Life is hard, but
correct.
You know a little bit of my story. I've had a hard life. I grew up below the poverty line. To this day, I've never stolen anything. If I can manage to make things happen and not hurt other people to take care of myself, I think other grown adults can do the same thing, man.
Correct. And it's harder, honestly. In my adult life, it's honestly harder to deal with adults than it is to deal with children, honestly.
Isn't it crazy?
Because adults they're set in their ways, and you're not going to tell them what they're going to do, right? They're an adult.
Exactly. So. Oh, I can't even with that. Oh, I could rant about that all day. Okay, let me ask. You've got a ton of cool stuff on the car. I know at one point you had I believe, was it a Yakima box?
Yeah, so I'm running Rhino Rack crossbars. Okay. And I think they're 54-inch crossbars, so they do stick over the edges a little bit. Yeah, that's all right. And then I threw a Yakima, I think it was a Carbonite 16 box, so 16 liter, I think it was, on top of that. And I ran that actually transitioned from my Crosstrek over into my Outback. And and then through my entire, ask me how I fit in the Crosstrek. I couldn't tell you how, because I'm 6'2".
Yeah, you're a tall
How
dude.
I slept in that thing, no clue. I managed to do it though. So I slept in the Crosstrek on that one, and then when I transitioned over in the Outback Wilderness, they upgraded and I think you spoke about this with Michelle too. You're like, don't they have the built-in crossbars? I'm like, I thought not on the Wilderness.
I did not realize that until that conversation.
Yeah, and so they upgraded the crossbars to support the weight of 200 pounds stationary, 700 pounds stationary, 200 pounds of weight in motion.
Okay.
So if you have a rooftop tent up there, you can be up there and in it and stuff when you're stationary. Okay. So I transitioned to a rooftop tent when so I still have that rooftop box still in the garage. Don't get rid of parts. Don't get rid of parts. You might need it someday.
Well, what kind of rooftop tent did you end up going with?
Did a lot of research. I've wanted a rooftop tent for a very long time. Mm-hmm. I just couldn't bring myself to pay the $4,000 price tag.
They're expensive, dude.
Right? And along with everything else, there's Chinese knockoffs, right? And so I found this one company, Top Oak Overland.
Oh, yeah,
And I
yeah.
think it's the Galaxy. The one I have is the Galaxy 1.0.
Okay.
It's a little on the heavy side. I absolutely love it. And honestly, I know that it's kind of a little bit of a Chinese company, and people don't realize they make these things in the same
Mm-hmm.
factories over in China as the big manufacturers.
Yeah.
So, in
Yeah.
my opinion, the shell is the same. Yeah,
You
the
know,
fabric might not have all the fancy blackout material inside, but the shell is the same.
dude, and there's no denying the fact that yes, there are cheap things that come out of China, but there's no denying the
Granted, yes.
fact that at the same time they have manufacturing on lockdown.
Yep.
There's no argument there. They've been doing it forever. And again, it comes down to just doing, like you said, doing your research
Yep.
and figuring out, is this like a cheap Chinesium part, or is this like a legit part that's still made over there?
Yeah, and you struggle, right? You're like, okay, well, the other tent manufacturer's $4,000. This tent with discount, I think I got it, and free ship or $200 shipping, but I think I got it for 1,400 or 1,300 bucks. So
Well,
it's like 4,000 or 1,300, and that's where
and
I
how
was
can
at in
you
my
argue with
head.
that?
You can't.
How can you really argue with that? I
And
mean,
again, it's literally the exact same tent. It has the pop out just like the big name brand, right? And I took my time. I watched YouTube videos of them comparing them to the
mm-hmm.
same exact like big name brand tent. And yeah, they're not perfect. Their zippers might not be perfect. Again, their fabric isn't blacked out, but for what I need and for my budget, perfect.
Yeah, yeah. And the other thing too, as long as something is not because what I don't like is when I find out that somebody stole a patent and started selling it. Like, if as long as it doesn't hit
Yeah.
those requirements,
Does it
I
count if you don't look into it if they did?
I don't
Because
think
I
I
honestly
think
have
you
no
found a
idea.
loophole.
I have no idea. I
Well,
didn't check.
there are a lot of situations where you'll find
Or their patent expires and then they start making them. I think the same
yeah,
thing happened with diesel heaters, right?
really.
Yeah,
Oh, I
there's
didn't know
these
that.
Eshbar or something, the big name brand diesel heater. They
Okay.
had patent lockdown on those.
Hmm.
Soon as that patent ran out, you had $50, $100 diesel heaters flood the market, exactly the same design, right? And it's
Yeah.
like, why would you go out and spend $3,000 on the same if you can buy the cheap $100 Chinese knockoff that does the
Yeah.
same? Yeah, they're not perfect. Yeah, they might have a few error codes or here and there. You might have to buy a sensor here or there, but it's like, it's worth it to save that
Just
money.
do your research and you're
Correct.
good,
So maybe it's something like that. Maybe the patent just fell off and they were able to steal the shell design or something. I'm not sure.
And
But
honestly
again,
though,
I'm not faulting them anybody, but yeah,
yeah,
great manufacturer. They've been great at responding to issues.
cool. Okay.
And yeah, I've sold probably like 3 or 4 of them. I should be sponsored to buy. I think I got
Right.
Toto buy one. I think I got, I got I got two or three people to actually buy the tent. So 4
Okay.
total, I think.
Well, dude, if the customer service is there, if it's not, and how many people are there really out there patenting rooftop tent designs? Probably none.
Correct.
But yeah, if you can find something that works and it fits
And it
in your
works great.
budget,
And again, I've
because the
watered one for a
option,
long time.
yeah, the option is I either buy this or I just don't buy one because I don't have $4,000
And
to
that was
spend
my
on a
option. I'm
tent.
either sleeping
Yeah.
in the Outback, which
Yeah.
was fun with 2 dogs, right? And
Right.
what I experienced a lot it's sleeping inside is condensation all the time on the windows on the inside. And people will be like, oh, leave your window down. I'm like, I leave all the windows down. I still get condensation dripping down the front window.
Mm-hmm.
So and that was a pain to clean in the morning when you got up. And yeah.
And it's kind of gross.
It's not a pretty sight. And if you don't worry about it, you let it dry, and then you have water spots on the inside of your window. And I'm like, that's not pretty.
Yeah, exactly. You got to get in there and really get down and dirty with the window cleaner.
Correct.
Let me ask you about spare tire stuff.
Yeah.
This is an issue that I have no idea what your setup is. But a lot of people have this question. How do I store a spare tire? Should I run a full-size spare? All those different questions. What's kind of been your approach to that whole thing?
I believe if you're going to do anything off road, you should always at least have some option, whether it's a donut, preferably a full size spare, is ideal. But yeah, at least something to get out of there. I mean, it would be a nightmare situation, right? You get in there and it's like all you have is a fix-a-flat kit and you have sidewall damage. There's no fixing that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do. And then again, I think most wilderness models come with full-size spares. I think the one is the Crosstrek Wilderness. I believe does not have a full-size matching. I want to say it has donut. Not 100% sure on that.
Okay. I didn't actually know that either. I didn't realize
Correct.
they had
And so I
full-size
think
spares.
the Forester and the Outback both have full-size spares. And so I fit mine in the wheel well in the back underneath everything. There's some controversy about that. Every tire, the Toyo that I've had, and now the Milestar tires, I can fit back there. One caveat: you do have to let all the air out.
Okay.
And I think Michelle mentioned that too. And it is possible to get it in there, but with her issue, I think it was a height issue when she's a little bit smaller, right? So getting in the trunk and pulling out even a deflated tire is hard for her, right? So I understand that concept, where for me getting in there and pulling that out isn't a big deal.
Okay. Does it fit in there? Do you have to air it down a lot? It's pretty snug. Okay.
Yeah, I when I do tire rotations myself, I don't let all the air out, but I let most out to where there's not a lot more coming out.
Okay.
And it again, it's a snug fit. I have to like push it into place to get that center cap to kind of lock it down.
Yeah. Okay.
And I can't put the styrofoam piece in there. I just took that thing out.
Okay. Yeah, I know that, the big concern for a lot of people is if you have to really deform the tire to get it in, is that it will take on the shape over time. But it sounds like you're not even having to, squish it, for lack of a better word.
I would not say the tire's deformed getting in there. It's pushed in maybe a little bit on the sides, but like it's not deforming the tire.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not enough to really, change the shape of the sidewall. So that's good to know.
No. Correct. Yeah. So it does fit. Now, again, every manufacturer is different, so there are slight tolerances. So if you happen to have a tire manufacturer that has an extra 2 or 3 30-seconds on it, or you buy a light truck tire that has more tread on it, it may not fit in there.
Yeah.
But in my experience with what I've owned, it does fit in there. And back to the tire carrier, I like the idea. I struggle though, because I don't want to have to deal with something when I want in the trunk.
Yes.
I don't want to have to stop and move something out of the way or fold something down. And I don't want to deal with it in the way of my backup sensors or the camera. I'm just like, I just would rather not. And again, I guess you also have a lot of weight that's extended out past the vehicle.
Yeah.
Which puts more stress on those rear struts and shocks.
Yeah. Well, I think if you can get away without running any kind of a
the only unfortunate part though is if I do have an issue, I have to unload everything.
That's a good point. That is a good point.
Which I have a refrigerator back there, like I have everything back there. All that would have to come out mid-trail to get to my spare, which is the downfall tailgate back there.
Well, let me ask you actually about the refrigerator and some of your camping stuff. So the refrigerator, what is it, and how do you kind of have it set up in terms of powering it?
Yeah, and so that's been a little bit of a journey learning that too. Started out in the beginning, I think, with just I think it was an EcoFlow River. It was an EcoFlow River Max. I think it had like 500 watt hours or whatever. Started out with that battery, and I was just charging off the cigarette lighter. You only get about 100 watts from your car when you do that.
Yeah.
And so if my fridge is running it, even on eco mode, pulls about 35 to 40 watts.
Okay.
And you're only charging it at 100, right? But your compressor kicks on and off, so it's not always taking that much. But that's what I started on. And then I moved up, I think from there, moved up to double capacity on battery. So I moved up from a River 2 to a Delta 2 EcoFlow.
And just for my knowledge, and I'm sure other people are going to be curious, that's kind of, is it like a power bank type of a thing?
Yeah, it's similar to Jackery. It's similar to Blue Yeti. It's similar to a lot of the other manufacturers out there.
Okay.
Each has their own unique take on the battery. Each has their own unique accessories. I think even DJI now makes a battery bank that you can take.
Really?
Yeah.
Of course
I
they do.
like the EcoFlow, and I like the EcoFlow ecosystem, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were the first ones to come out with an alternator charger. I don't know if
Interesting.
you've ever heard of that before.
No, explain it to me. Now I'm curious.
So that double size capacity battery, right? Like if I'm only charging that sucker at 100 watts from the cigarette lighter, it's going to take all day to charge up, right?
Yeah.
So I needed a way to charge it faster. And I think I originally started with a 200-watt solar panel. It's kind of cumbersome to pack around and unfold and constantly keep in the sunlight. And even a 200 watt panel, I'm getting maybe 150 watts max. So you're not even getting your true rated power out of it. So I was like, I have to have something better. So that's when EcoFlow released their alternator charger, they called it. And so what that does is it connects to either your battery or a main terminal underneath the hood, and you run that huge thick cables all the way back to the actual alternator charger box.
Okay. It's like a big 2-gauge wire or something like that.
A 2-gauge, maybe. Yeah, it's a thick beast, and I struggled to get it in the car and back there.
Okay.
But I just leave my alternator charger sitting into my front seat, and then that huge battery cable plugs into the back of that. And then they have what's called an XT150 connector. I'm not sure, but a lot of people might not be connected or familiar with XT connectors. They're kind of popular, I guess, in a lot of inside, even the EcoFlow batteries, a lot of them use XT60 or XT90 connectors inside those. But they have what's called an XT90 connector that comes out of that, and it plugs into the side of your Delta 2, or some of the newer batteries have external battery ports. So that port on the side of that Delta 2 could be used to extend the battery. So you could hook another battery into it, or I can plug my alternator charger into it.
Okay.
And that allows me to charge that battery at 800 watts.
Okay. Yeah, I just looked it up. I absolutely know what XT connectors are, but yeah, it's
correct.
Like it's
a two-prong, and you can get the bigger ones, the 150. It's a beastly connector.
A beefy one.
Yeah, I think, and it's a special one too, because I think they have some sense pins in with the two main 12-volt connector. There's some sense pins in there, so the alternator charger actually talks to the battery.
Yeah, well, and that makes sense, because you don't want to when you're messing with that stuff, you got to make sure that you're not overcharging or all these other weird little things that come into play.
Correct. Okay. And what's nice about that thing is you can actually do, if you use the 150 connector with the Delta 2 or higher end models, you can actually do reverse charging with that. So like, let's say you're out camping, right? And you left a light on, you left something on, and you have battery in your camping battery, but your battery's dead on your car. You can actually go in there and either do battery maintenance, or you can do reverse charge. It'll push 800 watts back into the battery, or it'll trickle charge the battery at 100 watts.
Okay. Now, are you, since we're on this topic, are you running a stock battery, or have you swapped to anything like an AGM or anything?
Interesting subject. I'm kind of torn right now what to do. I am still running the stock battery from day one.
No kidding.
So it's 3 years old, even with hooking my alternator charger, and I have lights hooked into it now. I've drained that. I think I've drained that battery to completely zero twice.
That's impressive. I do not hear that a lot.
Still running. What? And again, I think Kim, maybe some others, it literally had battery problems day one. And I've heard that Subaru back then was kind of known for having battery problems.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm still running the same battery.
Okay.
But I'm kind of torn, because I was kind of, when I bought my car brand new, they pushed battery warranty on me.
Really?
Yeah. So it's this Forever Start battery, lifetime battery replacement.
Okay.
And so I think there's up to a $500 deductible. So technically, if I wanted to, I could maybe push for an AGM battery replacement. I don't know what my limitations are on that.
Okay.
But I think that warranty, I think they charge me like $299 or $399. So not bad, but it covers for as long as I own that car, it covers every battery replacement I have. So I'm just like, I already bought the service. Do I just, but they make it difficult, right? So I call the company today because I'm starting to see a little signs of slight issues like all day today.
Okay.
It didn't seem like it had quite the starting power it used to.
Okay.
So here I am. I'm starting the process of reaching out to this company to start the battery warranty process.
Okay.
They won't pick up the phone.
Oh, of course.
Again, they to me in warranty companies, right? They'll do everything in their power to kind of deter you, being like, I don't want to mess with this. I'll just go buy my own. And then they already got the money, and you're spending more money.
Yeah.
So I'm currently going down that road right now. I'm trying to see where that takes me. But yes, I am 3 years into ownership, and I'm just now starting to see some slight battery issues.
Well, that's actually really impressive.
So yes, it is impressive.
I'm shocked.
Especially because batteries don't like to be drained to zero, and there's been twice where there's been zero voltage. I can't even. I have to force the jump starter to even see it because it says there's no battery.
Interesting. Okay, that is impressive.
I've been that battery's. Yeah, it's been rode hard.
Well, you got a good one then.
I got one of the good ones, but one thing I did not get good in that car was my transmission, unfortunately.
Did you have to get a warranted?
Yeah, so I'm at 66,000 miles now, but at 34,000. And an interesting story on that too, because it's where I met some really great people.
Okay.
I'm not even sure if you might have heard his name, Subaru Ambassador Robert.
Oh yeah, I know who that is.
He drives the Ascent.
Mm-hmm.
When I started having transmission problems, it was in the middle of that Colorado vacation I took with Subaru Ambassador Robert.
Okay.
So I was in the middle of Colorado and actually kind of Colorado, Utah, several thousand miles away from home.
Oh no.
And here again, I will say that was an amazing trip. I met that crew up on the top of a mountain at 10,000 feet. I'd never met these people before in my life. I think Josh was like, hey, I know some people that are going on this Colorado trip. And I'm like, I want to go. They're doing a pass, or they wanted to do Imaging Pass, I think. And I was like, I want to do Imaging Pass.
Heck yeah.
It's kind of a bucket list thing for me, I guess, to go get some of those done. And not necessarily in a vehicle that's capable of doing it. That's easy, right? I want to do it in a vehicle that is kind of the underdog.
Oh, absolutely.
And so that was the plan, is to go do that. And so had a blast. I think we did Engineer Pass, and I think we were supposed to go do Imaging. But when we made it to the top of Engineer Pass, and when we were coming down Engineer Pass, we made the decision to take Mineral Creek Road.
Oh, tell me all about it.
Holy crap. That was an adventure. The people at the top, when we started down that road, they were in side-by-sides.
Okay.
And they looked at us in those cars. I think it was Robert and his Ascent. It was William in a 22 Outback Wilderness with no lift. I don't even think he had skids on at the time. They were in the car, or no, yeah, he didn't even have them on at the time. They were in the car, but didn't have them on. And I forget what year. It was an older Forester named Gump, I think. And then it was me and then Josh in a Forester Wilderness.
Okay.
But yeah, and we saw this for this side by side at the top, and we were talking to the lady, and she's like, "You're taking those down there?" And we're like, "Yes." And she looked all of us in the face, and with no doubt in her mind, she looked at us and said, "You're ballsy." Straight out of her mouth. She looked at us and
probably right too, right?
When we got there, I will put it this way. We couldn't have gone up the same way we went down. I
Yeah.
don't believe. Because there
Yeah.
were times to where it was just, we were building trail.
Straight. Oh yeah.
We were building trail. There were some drop offs where you're cliffside on this side, drop off on this side, and then the ledge to go down it, and these holes with these massive rocks. It was just, we had to pile rocks in these holes to not fall into them. So that was quite the adventure coming off that side of the mountain. And again, I had just met these people the night before, and they rolled in at midnight.
So you didn't even really know him at all.
No, we woke up. That's when I basically first met him, is the next day when we woke up, and then we went and did that.
Holy crap.
So, and I think Robert, he has a whole channel. He has, I think, the video of us doing that trip, and then I think the next couple days we did some Utah stuff, and so he actually made some videos of that. And so some of those videos of us coming down Mineral Creek are out there on YouTube if you search up Robert's YouTube channel.
Sick. Okay.
But that was an adventure, and I, again, met some great people. So yeah, that was a blast. Absolute blast.
And it beat the piss out of the CVT. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know, to be honest. I don't really know, because we did the Mineral Creek Road, and then we were on our way into Utah, I think. And here's the crazy part. Robert, I think right before that trip, completely changed out every piece of his suspension. He went to, I think, GR40s, which are made by, I forget the name of the company, Flat Out. Went to Flat Out, went to Rally Tech, I think, lower control arm, adjustable lower control arms, the whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah.
We were in the middle of Utah. I forget exactly what trail we were on. He was right in front of me, and all of a sudden I see his rear end just sink.
Oh, shoot.
And it was right after he went over a pretty deep dip. And that, I don't know if you've seen Robert's ascent when he's on vacation, but oh my gosh, that thing, it must weigh 8,000 pounds.
Yeah.
He brought everything in the kitchen sink, and and 40 pairs of silverware for everyone that goes. So that thing is heavy. And so when it hit that bump, one of the Rally Tech adjustable lower arms, the weld broke.
Oh, frick.
And so I guess they have since redesigned them. I think when they designed those, they were welded in each section, and they were vertical welds. I think now they're just a straight piece of steel instead of having those welds. And so it broke right in the middle of one of those welds. I think right where the GR40 strut attached.
Like locks in.
Correct. Right there, it broke. And I think it even slightly bent the GR40 lower attachment point when it did that. And so what do? Right? Yeah. You broke this part. We're out here in the middle of this crazy Utah trail. So I start getting on the phone with Subaru dealers, trying to find the nearest one that has a rear trailing arm is what it is. Trying to calling where the nearest one, and that one doesn't have one. Call the next one, doesn't have one. And so I think there's I forget the name of the Subaru dealership that's in Utah there. We just came from there, went to Utah, slept that night. We're out on the trail the next day when it broke. And so they had two, I think.
Nice.
One or two, I think. I can't remember. I think I just got one. But anyway, talked to a friend that worked at the dealership because I could not make it there in time to pick the part up before they closed, because it was from where he broke down back to Salt Lake City, Utah, where the Subaru dealership that had it was. We're looking at a 4 or 5 hour drive one way. And so here I go. He says he will meet me at this town just outside of Salt Lake City. I load the dogs up. Me and the dogs make it off this trail in the middle of Utah down to the road. I air up, and me and the dogs take off and go get the part from this guy that works at the dealership. And I'm on my way back, and it's 7, 8 o'clock at night. I'm going up a mountain pass. I'm pushing it, right? I have a lot of stuff loaded. And then get over the mountain pass, start coming down, and I throw a check engine light. And we're talking 9 o'clock at night, middle of Utah. I'm alone after just picking up this part. Dash is a Christmas tree.
Oh,
Like, this is the last thing I need out in here in the middle of nowhere, right? And so I think I call one of the friends that I'm out there with, and they're like, "Well, just turn it off, turn it back on." And I think I had my code reader with me. I just didn't have it charged, so I didn't know. I couldn't reset codes. I didn't know what it was. And I carry it with me every time. Now, every time I go somewhere, I always carry a code reader. If you don't have
same.
one, you should have one, because it's nice to be able to clear it or know exactly what it is, instead of posting online your dash and being like,
Yeah.
"What's wrong with my car?" I have no idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where I first started having transmission problems with
Okay.
that. And I think it was at 30. No, when I first started having problems, it was at 28,000.
Okay.
20, 27, 28,000. And then it just kind of got worse from there. I think I ended up having that night that I heard through that code, it was for a pressure solenoid inside the transmission. So it could have just been a valve body or a solenoid in the valve body. But I didn't know. So I reset, pulled the battery cable, because just turning off the car and turning it back on wouldn't fix it.
Yeah.
Pulled the battery
Yeah.
cable, put it back in, codes went away, continued on my way. I think we did a couple more trails. No more issues the entire trip. And I pushed my vacation to the max. And so I think I started the trip back home in down there in where's that recovery guy from that deals with all those cars in the
Matt,
sand.
out
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes, that I started my journey home after that vacation. That morning, we went to a diner, had a goodbye breakfast. I think I left there at about 9 or 10 a.m. Drove straight home. That was 15-hour drive,
Holy
because
fudge.
I had to be to work the next day. So I
Yeah.
drove straight home all day, all night. I think I got home, I don't know, late. I think I got to bed. I think I might have got 1 or 2 hours of sleep.
No
Showed up the next
margin
day.
for
I was there.
error.
Nope. But
Let's
I
go.
wanted to go on that vacation, and again, I begged my boss at work to give me it off, because it's like it was right when school started. And I'm the IT guy, right? I have to be there. And so I don't know what happened to my camera.
I don't know.
I probably need some more light in the room.
Always something with the cameras.
Correct. It's always some technology. It died on me, and then I reset the battery. Never happened again the entire vacation. Never happened again the entire trip home. That 15-hour drive home. Never once
No
happened
problems.
again. No problems.
Huh.
And then I think I came back and I went out and did another off-road adventure. And it's the weirdest thing. It's not like in the middle of the adventure. It wasn't when I was pushing it, going slow or anything. It's like I got done. I just aired up my tires, got back on the road, same code. Limp mode.
Oh.
It wouldn't shift. It wouldn't do
Dude.
over a certain speed. All the lights on the dash, scan it for codes. I had my code reader at that time. Same code. And so I ended up taking, I think, the Subaru the first time it happened, and they were just like, "You reset the battery, we can't do anything." Even though the code was in the computer, they refused to even do anything. And so
That's
I
kind of
think
silly.
it is. It's a little weird. And so string, whatever, go with it. I think the next time it sets, I was coming out of Yakima, and I was like, after they told me that time, I'm like, I'm not touching it. I read it to see what it was, to see what code it was, but I'm like, I'm not resetting it. I'm not unplugging the battery. I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
So I think I turned the car off, and I think I turned it back on, and I think it let me continue. So I got into Yakima, drove all the way home, never came on again, and got another appointment into Subaru. Got it down there. They put me in a loaner. And this is where the story gets a little weird, but yeah, they a little frustrating because it left me on the side of the road again, and took it to Subaru, and every time they were just like, "It doesn't do it to us. We can't do anything." And I'm sitting here, I'm just dumbfounded almost. I'm like, I'm being left on the side of the road in a brand new car. You can clearly see that it's throwing transmission codes like in the computer. It just wouldn't do that randomly or on purpose for no reason.
Was this
Yeah,
after it had been warranted, or is this still on the OG transmission?
still on the OG.
Okay.
And so I think, again, I think the first code on that first pressure solenoid code was about 27,000.
Okay.
And then it got replaced at 34. So I drove on that thing probably, 10,000 miles. And again, that was a constant fight to try to get it replaced. I think ultimately in the end, it ended up leaving me on the road 4 times on the side of the road.
Oh, dude.
And I start to get a little not paranoid, but annoyed, because it's like, this is a brand new car. It's leaving on the side of the road. Here I have Subaru saying it won't do it to us when they test drive it. So they're like, I don't know.
Ooh, can't help you.
Correct. And I'm just like, so at what point does this become a safety problem? You take me pulling out onto a highway, and you take me trying to get up to speed because I pulled out in front of someone because I have the power to do it.
Yeah.
Goes into limp mode. All of a sudden it won't speed up. Let's say it's a semi. I get rear-ended, and I'm like, at what point does this become a safety problem? And so I think it took me saying that safety problem.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, we'll replace it.
Yeah. So, like, this guy's not going to let it go, and you shouldn't.
Correct. No, I'm like, no, it's a brand new car. Again, I push it, right? I don't overly do it, in my opinion. You take the advertisements that they have for these wilderness editions. They're up there on Imogene Pass at Poser Rock. Imogene Pass is no joke, right? So I'm just like, if they're advertising these things doing that, I don't push it any harder than what they show.
Yeah.
So, and again, it's almost, they tried to blame it a little bit on the larger tires. Imagine that. And they tried to blame it in my paperwork where it shows they replaced the transmission. It clearly states in there he has aftermarket tires, larger tires than stock. He has an aftermarket lift that wasn't installed by us. That's clearly laid out in there. So, but they ended up doing it. They ended up replacing it. And so far, I've had 0 issues with the new CVT.
Good. Now let me ask you about that a little. I got a couple questions I want to ask, but since getting it replaced, did you do any sort of additional cooling modifications at all?
I did not know.
Still running it? Okay, because they
still running stock. They come with a cooler though. The wilderness editions come with the CVT cooler.
Okay, perfect. Is that mounted somewhere up? It's up near the radiator, I'm guessing, by the driver's side fan.
I think you have your radiator, and then kind of it's up in the driver's side corner, and the top little corner of above the radiator there. You'll look up in the grill, and you can see another little like radiator looking thing, and that is your CVT cooler.
Perfect. Okay.
And as far as I know, no issues. And I've scanned it for codes, or not codes, but scanned it for data after I've taken a long, slow drive up a mountain on a hot day. I don't have an issue with CVT temps. What I deal with a little bit more is oil temps, and even with the wilderness editions having that oil cooler, and it's a water, I believe, a water to oil cooler. But I still struggle a little bit with oil temps, it seems like. And then we'll get into this too. I have something else I had replaced that I learned what it was that I didn't know what it was. And it might have been contributing to my overheating of my power steering. But I ran into that, besides that one time that I had it, I ran into, I think, 3 total times my power steering has quit completely.
That's crazy.
And I get the little symbol on the dash. It shows a little power steering symbol. No codes, no warning messages or anything. It just shows you the little power steering symbol and then nothing in the steering wheel.
Oh, fudge. Yeah, I wonder if they have like some sort of like a temperature-based fail-safe on it.
Has to be,
That's
because
what it sounds like.
If you read into the power steering computer, because I have a scanner that can actually read into the power steering computer, it actually will show you how many times it's overheated.
Really?
And mine, I believe, says 10. But I've actually only ever had it completely shut off like 3 or 4.
Okay.
But again, I wonder if it was what was wrong, which was causing it to overheat. I had the infamous exhaust manifold crack and exhaust leak.
Okay.
So I don't know if a lot of people know, but on the early model Ascents, so with the 2.4 liter turbo in specific, all the way up, I think, until towards the 2023 model, it's common right where they attach to the head of the engine,
Yeah.
right below that plate, there's a weld there where it turns circular. It breaks there.
That makes
So
sense.
I didn't know that it was broken.
Just dumping exhaust
Correct.
right there. Yeah.
But it started at about 30,000 miles, I think. And I was in the middle of the Hawaii Canyonlands when it started. And how I know it started is my car started to make a whistle sound. And a high pitched whistle when you would give it gas. And I was always like, I wonder what the heck that is. And it took me getting under there one day after I changed the oil and I just had cold started. I got under there, I could smell exhaust, and I'm like, there's an exhaust leak.
Yep.
So again, but I'm wondering if that exhaust leak contributed to excess temperatures in that general area, which overheated that motor. Because I haven't ever since I had it fixed, it hasn't happened since.
Well, and the other thing, exhaust temperatures are hot. Like
coming straight out of the
hot.
head, you're looking what 700, 800, 900 degrees. Well, maybe not that much, but
you're not far off though. I mean, that's pretty. Yeah. It's hot. It's
correct.
fire,
and so
dude.
If that's leaking there, and then I also kind of thought about the other aspect of that too. Because I do have a full skid plate under there, right? And so I've always wondered, and I don't know if I wish somebody would design this into those skid plates, and because I don't know if it really is an issue, but if you look at the stock plastic undercarriage that comes on that Outback Wilderness, they actually have a vent built into the stock that runs air from the front all the way around the headers, points directly on the motor for the power steering. So that is there on the stock one, but they're on all the aftermarket skid plates you have. It's just completely open under there. There's no vent that directs air directly to that power steering motor.
Okay.
So I always wondered why there's not a vent there if there is on the stock one. I mean, it has to be there for a reason. Maybe it does overheat.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah,
I just never reached out to the manufacturer. Yeah, about that, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and I haven't really seen it online either. Other people mention it on the forums. I've looked about overheating the motor on that power steering.
Man, that's a big no thank you for me.
Right? I'm like, well, do I rather have the good old hydraulic power steering?
Yeah.
Or this newfangled electric power steering?
Which is usually pretty good, except for if it stops working.
Correct. And if you're on the road all day and you're on the highway, you're getting a lot of airflow. You're not doing aftermarket skid plates. You're not getting rid of that duct that's installed, right? So you probably would never experience it. But you start modifying things, you start modifying the way things work, you might run into some issues.
Oh, I want to ask you this question. Obviously we just talked about how they show the advertisements of them doing some real gangster stuff in these cars.
Correct.
But
let's say wheels in the air. Yeah. You see them advertise this stuff.
Let's say somebody either is in the market for a Subaru or has just bought a Subaru. What's a realistic expectation that they can have as to what they can reliably and consistently do in these cars? I feel like there's this thought amongst a lot of our community where they're like, oh, if I just put bigger tires, this is going to be a rock bouncer and I'm just going to be out there keeping up with Jeeps and all this type of thing. Do you have any thoughts on that? Just like realistic expectations that people can kind of have?
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. Subarus will impress the hell out of you. I want to say in the older day, maybe not quite as much. Only reason I say that is because you didn't have like the whole ABS. You didn't have the whole where if one wheel's slipping, it'll grab that wheel and send power somewhere else, right? So where in the old days you get tires and they would just spin and you correct it, it wouldn't go anywhere. You'd have to either do the rear dip, something like that to be able to bypass that. But nowadays, I will say they are getting better year by year. Even looking at the differences between technically the Wilderness models and maybe like even say Toe's Crosstrek. He gave my Outback a name. It's called the Airbus because it's fast and it's giant. But yeah, that thing will surprise me what they have done even in the Wilderness models. Like there's times where he has to use his winch. I don't. And there's times where I can see where I can get tires in the air and not and where I can power through it, but even another one can't. And so I don't know if they've tweaked the systems in those
What's
for
that gear
specifically for the.
ratio?
I don't know if I would say it's all gear ratio. I will say on the Wheeler Smalls, I think they went to 411s in the rear ends.
You've got 444s
Or 444, whatever it is. Whatever they went to, correct.
Yeah, that's a good
So
good
I will
ratio.
say fast takeoff.
Mhm.
But again, I will say that they've probably done something to the computer system in those, because there's times where I'm like,
Definitely.
you see another Subaru struggle. And I even saw this on the Wabater I think in some of those trips, there's some people that had some older Outbacks before the 2020 model year.
Mike
And
and his
Mike.
wife.
And
I remember
they
that.
got up there, and even I think Sarah and Lizelle, and no, I think they had their older car at the time, but there were some other Outbacks there, and they got on that section 3 of the Wabater, that washout, or that section through there, and they'd get up to that hill, they would be completely floored, right? And it wouldn't go anywhere.
Nothing.
And here I am. I'm like, they're like, "Oh, you're going to give it gas to get through here," and I'm just like, "No, I'm gonna take my time, right?" And I think I did give it a little bit of gas, but I did not struggle one bit, even if I had tires in the air. So you can kind of see where they've been slowly perfecting that system.
The TCM also, the transmission control module. I think you're right. I think they have done a lot.
So again, back to the expectations, they will surprise the heck out of you.
Yep.
They will probably get you into some situations that you're not prepared to handle. But again, I am the kind of person that will push my luck a little bit. I won't push it as far as like, I'm going to go rock crawling. Again, I know my limits. And I think people, like you said, I think people really should have expectations out of these things. Like, again, they're not rock crawlers. But again, on the other side, they will surprise the heck out of you.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, like, I did the entire Wabater stock. Stock tires, stock suspension. Granted, it was a wilderness, so you have the 9.5 inches of ground clearance or whatever. But yeah, it was completely stock, and I did the full Wabater start to finish.
Yeah. Well, and I was there on that trip, dude. You had no problems at all. Then you were at camp, all safe and ready to go.
Correct. So yeah, again, they will surprise you. Have your expectations. Don't go too far. They're not going to take you on the Rubicon Trail. Yeah. You if you want to, go for it. And now you could take, I guess, the bit on the extreme side. You take Cary and Milton, right? I think they will push it a little harder than I will. I mean, I would try to keep up, but I know my limits. And again, I have in the back of my head, this thing is, I don't have another car. This is my daily. This gets me to and from work. Like, I can't be out here and break it.
Yeah, and I would say that they probably spend almost an equal, like their ratio of time in the shop maintaining their cars and fixing stuff that they break.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's another thing too. Is you kind of have
if
to
you
gauge
have the money,
people.
Go for it. Go break your car, right? And again, I'm not going to tell someone no, don't go it, but just be warned. You better have the money when it does break.
Yeah, and as a kid or new to off-roading, I had that mindset of, oh, all cars are the same. If I put the same tire as a Jeep Rubicon, I will get to the same places. Little did I know that's not how it works.
Great thinking, yeah, but just not completely logical thinking.
Not even a little. Well, I didn't know anything about 4Low because I'd never driven a 4x4. It was eye-opening to me to actually buy one and start doing that stuff. I was like, okay, now I get it. Now
and don't get me wrong, like I said, I go with Robin, and she has that lifted Jeep, right? And that thing is a beast. Where I struggle, where I'm like, I have to go slow because there's a lot of rocks. She's just like, this is a highway. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right. And so I see that difference as well.
Yeah. And then there's other things where the Subarus really outperform.
Correct. You take me on a straight gravel road, you're left in the dust.
It's the same thing. So I've got an XJ, like an old Cherokee. Yeah. It's about as built as it could be without doing a full axle, like 1-ton axle swap. And that thing will go anywhere. It's literally a point and shoot vehicle, which then makes you be like that thing of like, oh, I don't want this to be a walk in the park. Well,
Mm-hmm.
to do that in something like that, you really have to start doing real stupid stuff.
Yeah.
But put me on a gravel road, and like you said, I'd rather have the Forester all day long.
Yeah. I love to go exploring.
Yes.
I'm not into breaking stuff. And I guess
Yeah.
I like more overlanding.
Yeah.
That's my cup of tea, right? Sure you can go rock crawling and break stuff, but I'm more of getting out into the wilderness and seeing the sights to see, getting off the beaten path where people don't normally travel and seeing some awesome stuff.
And I think that's where these cars really shine, is using them as a way to get to a specific activity that you want to do. Like, that's how I've always used mine.
Yeah.
And
I think that's why a lot of people buy them, right? They buy them because they're avid skiers, they're avid hikers, and they want to get to the trailhead.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen the Subarus at the trailhead, and I've seen the other cars down the road, and they're hiking their little booty up to the start of the trail because they couldn't make it, right? So I've seen that case scenario too.
Yeah, you're 100% right though on the reality that they will shock the heck out of you.
Correct. And I don't think people underestimate them. And I get the crazy looks on the trails. I get the like, what in the heck is that thing doing out here? And here I am going by them. No, and I almost like those looks. Those looks of like, I can't believe you're bringing that out here.
I've told people in the past that's my favorite part of going off road in a Subaru, is people being like, "What are you smoking?"
Correct. In what world do you live on thinking that thing's going to make it out here?
Dude, it's kind of like, oh yeah, like some people.
But then you almost want to prove them wrong. Yeah, you're like, no, like, yeah, you watch.
yeah, it's just kind of well. Again, I've said this multiple times on the podcast, but it's more fun to drive a slow car fast than a fast car slow. And it's more fun to push the piss out of a car that's not supposed to be on these trails than it is, some big thing on 42s.
I guess it is that thrill of like, I did it in a Subaru, right?
Yeah. It's way more exhilarating, I guess would be the way to put it.
I guess Toe got a 4Runner, right? Awesome. But you're going to go out there and he got I think it's the older Gen 4Runner. He's working and fixing up now.
Nice, dude. Good for him.
And so, but it's like, you're going to go out there and you're going to have an easy time. You're going to be like the Jeep, right? I'm going to be on a rocky road and you're going to be like, what do you mean? This is a highway. But then again, on the opposite side, I will be on a straight gravel road. I will be gone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he still got IFS, so it'll still handle somewhat decent on the rough roads.
I want to say I can't remember exactly what gen it is, but
okay. Yeah, those are good cars. I would love a straight axle swapped 4Runner, but it costs so much. Just the fabrication cost for that.
Yeah,
it's like
that makes sense.
More than my Subaru. Yeah, it's out of control.
It makes total sense. Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this: your car. What are the future plans? If you said it's never done, so I'm just going to assume.
It never is. And someone that says that they're done, you're not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. It's hard to say.
Okay.
I guess my main goal right now is to probably just pay it off. I don't have any. I don't have any big plans to add something major. Again, I'm extremely happy with my Rally Tech suspension. Great. No crazy noises off road. It's quiet. Again, very nice. So I've solved that problem. I have a full power setup. As I transition to more into electricity off road and camping, I use less and less propane and fuel. So everything's transitioned. I have an electric kettle to boil water for coffee in the morning.
Coffee gang, dude.
So everything as I transition, so I'm going more electrical related and less gas. Since I already carry the battery to run the fridge.
Yeah, I was going to say
I might as well just have it to run everything else. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
So I'm looking more into transitioning to electric. I think I have a backup stove just in case something completely fails and I have to cook something. I at least have something.
Yeah.
And I do carry a fire can. It's a fire can deluxe. And I do carry propane. So because of around here, we can't have fires a lot of times in the summers because we have fire bans. But they will usually, most cases, allow you to have propane. So I will carry the propane fire can around, and that will act as a grill too. So, but as far as plans, I did recently add some lights. I added the windshield lights.
Nice.
And now I've kind of got the light bug, I guess, a little bit. And so they're expensive, I guess, unless you go cheap. But you go cheap, don't last long, not as bright. So
Yeah.
I actually got lucky. The lights that I installed, I really have to thank William. Back when I did that Colorado trip, out of the blue, he brought up, he's like, "Hey, I got these diode dynamic pod lights. Anybody want them?" And so I was the first one to speak up. And so he gave me, it was the full wiring kit.
Okay.
So yeah, bless his heart. But yeah, he gave those to me. And so
Heck
I recently just got them installed. Now that sparked the lighting bug. So if I do anything, it might be some more lighting or something, but nothing major. Nothing major in the works.
Dude, what your setup is like fully kitted. So let me ask you about are you running a switch panel for the lights at all?
Yeah, I'm not super fond of it. But it works for what I need. I think I got it on sale. It's just an eight gang aux beam, I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm running.
I love them. I don't like it is what sits under the hood is where everything plugs in, right? All your lights plug in.
Yeah.
But then the flaps don't cover all your connections.
Yeah.
They're just exposed. True. And so, and I will probably get crap for this, but I am a huge proponent of keeping your engine bay clean. I take a pressure washer to the entire thing. People will tell you, "Oh, you can't do it. Oh, you're gonna." I've done it every single car I've owned. I've never had an issue. I spray the alternator. I spray out. Again, you have to understand, like this under there is designed. All your connections are waterproof. You're going through mud puddles, right? You can't say that's not going into your engine bay.
Yeah.
So they're designed to have water, and so I've been a huge proponent of keeping them clean. So I don't like on those the exposed connection points, because now when I wash under there, I'm gonna have to try to avoid it.
Do you think dielectric grease would help? Because I never thought about that. Maybe I should go do that tonight. Put dielectric grease on my aux beam connections.
Yeah, I've never thought about it. But yeah, those clear plastic flaps, and then if you look in there, you have where your connection points are, but then you can kind of see even farther in down where all the relays are inside. And I'm like, I don't want water to get in there. So that's the only downfall that I could see to that particular aux beam. I think the fancier ones,
like IP67 or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, or I think Garmin makes the one that will use your phone and you can remotely control it. Those I think are more sealed.
Okay.
I was on a budget. I bought the cheap single color 8-gang switch. I literally have the pod lights and then the back lights for the pod lights. Okay. That's all I have wired up to it.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I was on even more of a budget. I'm on the 6-gang.
Okay. Yeah, and I probably single color, or could you upgrade? Could you become single part of the elite club and get the RGB?
Nah, single color. I hate RGB, so I just was like, "Oh, give me the blue light, special."
Yep, blue light here as well.
Kmart gang.
There you go.
You mentioned that you do, your oil changes and stuff.
All my maintenance.
Yeah. Now you do use the car what it was made for. Correct. And you do have bigger tires. Have you adjusted your maintenance schedule at all?
Correct. And I'm glad you brought this up, to be honest, because I wholeheartedly believe, I really think people should follow the Subaru maintenance schedule. And I don't think people know that Subaru has a Subaru maintenance schedule. When you, and I don't want to say, maybe I do want to say this. Car brands, and not just Subaru, right? Car brands in general, in my opinion, will throw out crazy numbers. Like, what did Subaru say in the beginning? Like, your CVT is a sealed unit. Don't touch it. It's lifetime fluid. And I'm like, you're freaking nuts. Yeah. There's no way in heck you're telling me that an oil is never going to break down when it gets to 160 degrees and it's mechanically like being twisted, right?
It changes. It changes the molecular structure of it. Yeah.
And I think, and so where I see manufacturers going with that, is it cuts down on what they can tell their customers are of maintenance costs.
Ownership costs.
Correct. Yep. So if they can start cutting that out, if they can start telling you your oil changes are 6,000 miles, right, instead of every 3, your maintenance costs get lower and lower and lower, right?
They're even pushing them to 10, bro.
That's insane to me. Like and again, like they say, like short trips, towing, off-road use, anything follows severe schedule, which is every 3,000 miles is oil change. I think every 30,000 is diffs and CVT. Every 60,000, I believe, is spark plugs. Again, I really wholeheartedly believe these people should be following these severe maintenance schedules, and not just because like I'm trying to be like, well, you should do it, but like in my opinion, it's cheap insurance.
Oh, 100%.
Maybe not if you're taking it to the dealership and paying $100 and some odd dollars for an oil change. But in my opinion, I'm like, I spend $35 on a 5-quart jug and go buy a $10 filter. Like that's $40, right? I'm done.
Yeah.
That's cheap insurance.
Oh, I agree. And your car's just going to run better longer.
Correct. And I don't really think people understand how hard turbos specifically, and not NNAs, but your Foresters, your Crosstreks, you could probably get away with 5,000-6,000 mile changes if you wanted to. I wouldn't.
There's so much extra heat.
Correct, but that turbo, you have to think that is literally going through that turbine bearing, and that's extremely hot. That's exhaust. That's cooking that oil.
Yeah, 100%.
And so I've been a very strong component. If you're running a turbo car, 3,000 max, change that oil.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing too, the turbo is such a finely machined. The tolerances are so
precisely, very precise tolerances in, and so and I guess I don't know if they stopped doing them. An issue that I kind of dealt with back when I had my 08 Outback with the turbo. The filters. The screens, correct? The banjo bolt screens.
Yeah.
I don't know if they still put them in the new ones, but if those are in there, if you don't change that oil, your oil gets a little sludgy, gets built up, clogs those screens. All of a sudden, you have half the oil starvation. And that's what was killing those old turbos in those cars.
So many people lost TD04s out of their Forester XTs, Outback XTs.
But the pain in the butt part was to get back there to the banjo bolts.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Like you had to take a lot of stuff to get to those banjo bolts. And people would get to them and then rip out the screens and shove it back in there. But then it's like, well, I mean, they put the screen in there for a reason, right? Like, and here you are, maybe not changing your oil as often you should again. And then now all of a sudden you have chunks going through very tight tolerance bearing.
Exactly. And just nuking the turbo. Yeah, I think a lot of people, that was the fix. They would just pull the screens out, but then you got to be on top.
Correct.
Of your and don't use a cheapo Walmart filter either when you do your oil changes. Use something that's actually.
And I know people out there will have their own opinions on their oil, and I know oil's touchy. I've been in some forums, but I'll throw out there what I use. I use Pennzoil Ultra Platinum, and I will say why I use them. It's because if you show all your receipts and you can prove that you specifically used Ultra Platinum, they actually will warranty the engine on your car for 750,000 miles.
What the
Correct.
fudge?
And if you don't use Ultra Platinum and you just use Platinum, which you can get pretty much anywhere, it's kind of hard to find the Ultra Platinum. It's 500,000 mile warranty.
That is actually really impressive. I didn't know that.
Correct. And so I'm like, shoot. And to me, I've been running it in all my WRXs, got Ultra Platinum. To me, it's a very good oil. And the fact that they're backing it with that warranty, as long as you show all your receipts and you go on their website and put in all your services, they will warranty your engine. And I think anything to do with the engine, including turbo,
anything that's lubricated, essentially,
by their oil, So you think about it, 750,000 miles. That's almost 1 million miles they'll warranty your engine.
That is crazy.
Subaru won't even do that.
Yeah. So that severe duty maintenance schedule, is that in the owner's manual, or is that something that you managed to find?
I don't know if it specifically shows it in your owner's manual, like say the manual that you get in your glove box. But I know I use the My Subaru app, especially on the newer Subarus. And that actually has an option in there. You can switch between normal and severe maintenance schedule.
Interesting. Okay.
And I think once you switch it, I think it stays on the severe schedule. I think I've gone back in there a couple of times and I've had to manually switch it back.
Will you actually send me screenshots of that?
Yeah.
I think that would actually be real helpful, because you're the first person that I've ever talked to that has brought this up.
Correct. And I'm surprised more people don't talk about it. I brought it up on a couple forums and stuff and Facebook and said something, and people are like, oh yeah, I've seen it. But like, I really don't even think Subaru does a good job. Again, they really want you to see that lower cost of ownership. They don't want to tell you,
Exactly.
oh, if you're taking it off road, oh, if you're driving, and stop and go traffic's one of them. So if you live in a bigger city and you're stop and go traffic, that's considered severe driving. So
Well, and
you should be following a severe schedule.
yeah, it makes sense. A lot of, like you said, stop and go or just idling,
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff, especially if you're turning the car off and turning the car on. I think the way it works is, you wash down the
Cylinder
car has to,
walls.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The car has to warm up. And so then it dumps a bunch of extra fuel into the cylinders and it runs it rich. Well, that washes down your oil, you're
Yeah.
mixing.
Or if you think about it, like if you're sitting there idling, right? Like you don't have as high as oil pressure as you would going down the road. And so you don't have
Exactly.
the oil feeding the cylinder walls. And so you have all that oil,
Exactly.
that fuel being dumped in, and that just floods those cylinder walls with. So yeah, it just causes extra wear and tear. So
Yeah.
again, oil dilution, you just want to stay on top of it. Again, it's cheap and easy insurance, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion.
100%. Or even just temperature changes. I change
Yeah.
mine every season, even if I've hardly driven the car, because you get condensation
Yeah.
inside. There's moisture in the air. There's no way around it.
No, and you
And
have the heating and the cooling, you're gonna get condensation.
mhm,
Even if you drove it out of date, you're still gonna. And I think people have freaked out. Like you take off your oil cap in the middle of winter, right? And it's extremely
mhm.
cold, and you warm it up. You'll take it, and it looks like sludge on the bottom. There's
Yeah,
nothing wrong.
yeah,
It's just that's where condensation has built up and
finds
turned
its
technically
way
your
up.
oil to sludge, but it's
Yeah.
only in that spot, right? So
Well, and I think isn't H2O is a partial byproduct of combustion. So you're
technically, yeah,
gonna have
and you'll have water pour out of your exhaust and stuff. So
exactly. Yeah. No, man, this is great because I think, so many people, especially in our community, we beat the piss out of these cars and we really do have to take, necessary steps to make
and
sure
again,
that
it's like, sure, if you don't want to, you want to see that lower cost ownership.
yeah.
How long is that car actually going to last?
Yeah. Well, your
And
cost of ownership goes way up when you have to sell it and buy a new
yeah,
car because you blew up the engine.
and it's really interesting how sometimes these manufacturers, and again, not just Subaru, other manufacturers, they'll be like, oh, again, back to that lifetime fluid.
hmm
What is lifetime of the vehicle? Is
Once
lifetime
it
when it
blows
blows
up.
up?
Yep.
So if it blows up at 50,000 miles, that was the life of the vehicle.
Exactly. 100%.
When I think of life of the vehicle, I'm expecting 3, 4, 500,000 miles out of
Yeah.
this thing, right? Like that's
Yeah.
my lifetime expectation, not your
Uh,
lifetime fluid expectation.
Exactly. Maybe one or two short blocks later, maybe,
Yeah.
you know.
At whose expense at that point?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's real interesting because there's all sorts of weird stuff behind the scenes that, it usually takes an insider to kind of shed some light on
Correct.
a
And
lot of
people
this
don't think
stuff.
that people think that the manufacturer is there for you, but unfortunately, I'm sorry to tell you, these companies and manufacturers aren't there for you.
Yeah.
Again, if they can make it look better and show you a lower cost of ownership, it's going to make you gravitate towards that company. It's going to
Yeah.
create sales for them, right? So
Yeah.
it looks
Well,
good, but that 6,000 mile change probably is not the best.
and sure, if you're driving all highway, yeah,
Yeah.
go for it. Do your 6K. But
Yeah.
what's gonna make the headline in Car and Driver magazine? Oh,
Yeah.
these cars are reliable if you use the extreme duty, maintenance schedule. No, nobody's going to talk about that. They're going to be like, wow, Subaru just broke records and gave us a 10,000 mile oil
10,000 mile
change
oil change.
interval.
And now I don't understand. Now what? I think Subaru's fall in the lead with Toyota, and they're going to this 0-16 oil
Zero.
now.
Yeah, something
I
crazy
don't
like
even. That's
that.
like water.
It
My
really
zero
is.
20 I put in my car, I drain it and it's hot. It literally looks like water when it comes out.
Yeah.
It's that thin.
Well, even 530 that was in, Subarus for the longest time, even that when it's hot, it's like, oh, that's not very
Yeah.
thick at all.
And again, in my opinion, there's the manufacturer trying to squeeze more fuel economy.
hmm
Because in my opinion, that's all you're doing. That lighter
hmm
oil creates less drag on the engine, which
Exactly.
bumps your fuel economy. So they're trying to say that it's better because it's lighter. No, they're just trying to squeak it that
Yeah.
way so they can market it that way.
Yeah. And the buzzkill of that is, yeah, obviously the manufacturers want to sell more stuff and make more money and all that. But the buzzkill of it is, the EPA has all these requirements on these companies, and it's like, okay, it's great to have better gas mileage, but now this car is going to end up in the scrapyard sooner. Is it
Correct.
really any better for the environment in the long run? Like,
Yeah, all that extra, like you talk about EGR, that was in the name of
mm-hmm.
emissions. That
Oh,
just
dude.
clogs up your car's intake.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I was built in. And another one, honestly, probably one of the worst things they could have added is auto start stop. Oh
Oh, dude.
my, it's horrible.
So bad for the starter. So bad. I
Correct.
don't
And
even know much about it, but I cannot imagine that being good for the
again,
vehicle
what
over the long
what
term.
all mechanics will tell you, when does the most wear on cylinder walls happen?
Startup.
Correct. There's no oil.
Mm-hmm.
And your start stop, those run dry every single time. There's not a pump in there pumping
100%.
oil all the time. And
Well, I
that's where your
mean,
wear comes from, is startup.
yeah. And granted, it's not like it's going to be sitting overnight during that, but do you really think that's thick oil that's clinging for a long time? No, it's
No,
hot and it's going to drain
it drains
straight
right
down.
off.
And after hundreds of thousands of intervals, you're 100%, going to get way more, wear. I mean, because, the rings going up and down a dry cylinder wall,
Yeah.
dude. I'd
Again,
love,
that's where you get the most wear.
yeah, I would
And
love to pull
yeah,
apart something that's had that for a long time,
yeah.
like to start, stop, and see if there's any cross hatchings left. Like, I'd love to see,
Probably not. It's probably gone, to be honest.
like a glass mirror.
Yeah. I mean,
Oh man.
look back on some of the older V8s and stuff that these other
Mm-hmm.
manufacturers had with their cylinder deactivation. Right?
Oh
That
yeah,
was
I
the
remember
first thing to
that.
fail. Destroyed engines left and
Mm-hmm.
right. People would be like, turn that thing off, get rid of that
Yeah,
cylinder deactivation, because it's still, yeah, it's almost a dry
it's still
cylinder, and
moving.
it doesn't
Yeah,
operate the same.
exactly. Yeah, oil pressure is such an interesting conversation, because like it's for the same reason that I always tell people who are driving manuals, don't lug the frickin' engine
Yeah,
going uphill. You need your RPMs because you've still got the throttle open, but
yeah,
you're not getting that oil pressure up into all the oil galleys.
correct. What is
It's
oil
kind of
pressure when you're driving down the highway at 50, 60, 80, 90 sometimes? But when you're sitting there idling at a low RPM, you're 20 psi. Yeah, it's really
yeah,
low.
yeah. No thanks. Oh man. Okay, so we're at 2 hours and
Oh
24
God,
minutes.
I'm not even keeping track of time.
Dude, same. I
There's
just
just
looked
so
up. I was
much
like, oh
more,
shit.
man. I don't even, again, like so many more adventures that I've had. It's just, yeah, I'm going every summer. I've completed the Wabatter, the Oregon BDR, the Idaho BDR. And if you want to know my opinion, the absolute best BDR out of the three that I've done is Idaho.
Michelle was telling me the same thing.
Yeah.
She was like, "You got to go check it out."
I think she hasn't done it, but yeah, that was absolutely the most
Hmm.
beautiful. And there's times you're up there in the middle of nowhere on the top of a mountain ridgeline, and you just look out for miles and
Miles.
there's
Yeah,
nothing, and you're up here in the middle of nowhere, right? And yeah, it's an amazing feeling.
I love that. I need to get out there and I've just been so busy. I'm getting married in about a month, and
I don't know
I'm
whether
in
to say
this.
congratulations or good luck. So
Well, I will say this: I waited a long time,
there
dude.
you go.
I'm turning 37 in a couple days, so I'm old,
Okay, you're slightly
and
behind me then.
I
I
found.
just turned 38, I believe.
Okay, okay. Yeah, it's crazy how you start to forget. You're like, I had to do the math a couple weeks ago. I was like, wait,
Yeah,
how old am I? I was like, I was born in this year. Okay, 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 I got it.
yeah.
No, I found a good one though, man.
Okay,
She's way out of my league, and
you
she's a much
waited, you're
better
ready.
person.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people sometimes rush into that sort of stuff,
Oh,
and
dude, if I'd have gotten
they're
married
just not
15
ready.
years
Yeah.
ago, oh man, have you been married?
No, no.
Okay,
I've been in a 10-year relationship. Wasn't the best.
yeah,
But it was almost being married sometimes, it
yeah.
felt like.
And we'll cut this out too, just so that people aren't
No,
all
it's
up in your
fine. No, it's
business.
all. Again, I don't really care. I'm open book.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way, but yeah, I've just been slammed with stuff lately, so I haven't hardly been out on the trails. It's like,
I need to get out
I'm,
there more. I go every weekend.
do you really?
Yeah, and I usually go with tow.
Mm-hmm.
Here the last couple weekends I haven't really gone. Um, But yeah, we usually go every single weekend. We usually have at least one big trip a year. I think next year we're kind of planning on doing possibly either an Alaska trip all the way up to where you can't technically drive anymore.
Dude,
Doing the
I was just in
Alcan.
Alaska.
Okay,
I
awesome.
was just there over the weekend, dude.
It's kind
That's
of a
what's up.
bucket list thing for me.
Do it.
I want to do it.
Bro, do it.
Right. And I'm just like, don't be scared of it. Like I watched some YouTubers, right? And there was a single short, like skinny black lady that took her Forester and went all the way alone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if she can do it, I can do it. Right. And I'm
You
just
know
like,
what?
no, I'm going to do it.
I
And so
will
many
tell
people will
you.
be like, no, it's so scary. You got to have all this. You got to have all this and your new windshields. And I'm like, you can't be scared. You just go do it and go have fun.
Yeah. And I will say this, Alaska has some of the best people in it that I've ever met. Just
I've seen that. Again, I watch a lot of YouTubers, right? And so you see them break down on the side of the road up there. Every trucker will stop for you. Every single one of them, and make sure you're okay.
To survive in a place like that, you have to
help thy neighbor.
Exactly. Yeah, they're just good people with really solid morals and values. I mean, you have hit and miss everywhere, but once you get outside of Anchorage, it's just a very tight-knit group of people that genuinely do care about their family, friends, and even strangers, you know?
Yeah.
It's a good group of
so
people.
It's either that trip, which is going to happen, whether it's the next year or next year or next year. And then I think Toe also really wants to do the entire, I think it's a trek. I think it's a week or 2 week trek all the way around Vancouver Island.
Oh, shoot. That would be sick.
I think, and it's a long trip. I think it's all dirt. I think it takes at least a week, at least.
Dude, that is tight. That would be sick.
So again, it's either Alaska or that trip next year. That's
okay.
At least one of my big planned trips. And I think Robert, that I did that one trip in Colorado and Utah with, he's doing. He just did another Colorado trip this year. Wanted to go, I just finances couldn't make it work, and I was just like, I don't want to push myself, so. So I opted to do the Overland Expo event instead of going to Colorado. But yeah, so that's kind of the only trip that I did this year. But I think Robert wants to do the Alaska trip. So I might try to work with him and see what maybe when he wants to do it, maybe, I don't know, coordinate all together and get in touch back, because it's been 2-3 years since I've actually went back out with him since I did the Colorado trip. So such a cool group, such a cool guy.
Yeah. Hit me up
and into a lot of Subaru stuff. Yeah. No, I'll let you know too. Yeah. I mean,
even if I can't make it, let me know what's up. Cause I'm in Alaska regularly. I was there for about a week, and I probably spent a couple months there last year. I go up regularly for work.
Okay.
But
maybe, if we're going up there and you're already up there, maybe we could meet up somewhere.
Heck yeah. Okay, I've talked your ear off for literally 2
Again, I could probably
hours.
go for another 2 hours, to be honest.
I need to get food and get into bed at some point.
You speak about food. This is my dinner that I cooked before I started, and I haven't eaten anything.
That is sick. Well, dude, you're crushing it too. You said you lost 80 pounds?
Yeah, I lost.
That's impressive.
So I started it, I think last October, I started at 268 is where I started.
Okay. And look at you now, man.
Down to 190.
Okay.
And that was my mind, man. I've never been, I've never worn a medium shirt. I'm in mediums.
Dude, that's
I've
sick.
never worn 30 and 34-inch waist. It's now too big.
Dude, that's rad.
I think, again, I did the tux measurements today because I'm being a part of my sister's wedding coming up in September.
Okay.
And I had to get my measurement waist, and I actually had a tape measure, and my waist measured at 26.5 inches.
That is crazy.
And I came from 38-inch pants.
That is sick. Okay, let me pick your brain about this in a second after, because we have to sit on the call for a minute anyways to let everything upload. Anything that I missed about the Subaru stuff, and anything that you think would be, like, if you had to share one piece of advice with people if they're wanting to get into all this stuff, what would it be?
Oh gosh, and you're talking into like the Subaru off-road world, yeah?
Yeah, or just anything, man. The floor is yours.
Don't leave it open like that. That's scary. Don't leave it open. Yeah, I guess I don't have a whole lot of advice. Yeah, it's as far as like the Subaru goes, don't be afraid to jump in.
Yeah.
I guess it's interesting. Again, I don't post a lot in social media. I'm not a lot into social media because, to be honest, it kind of scares me when you have the CEOs of these big companies that are in charge of these social media accounts, and they're like, there's no way in heck I would allow my child to even touch it.
Oh, dude.
But then we let our 10-year-olds use it. Like, what is that doing, right? Like, so you see that, right? And I'm like, I kind of keep my distance. There was one point I deleted Facebook.
I don't blame you.
And then I was just like, crap, how do I keep in touch with these Subaru groups to go do off-roading events? Because that's the only place they're at.
Yeah.
And so then I think I even tried to make a generic Facebook account, not with my name, and Facebook's like, get out of here with that. No. Yeah. And so I had to make with my name. I had to have my picture.
Oh.
Whatever. I did it because that was the only way I could keep in touch. But yeah, just don't be discouraged. And again, that's where I was going down that road with a little bit with social media. A lot of people will be naysayers. Again, like the whole spacer lift. Oh, it's not a real lift. Oh, go get a real lift. Oh, whatever. And I'm like, again, I guess do what you want. Do your own research. But don't let somebody tell you what to do. Again, take all of it with a grain of salt, I guess. There's a lot of tire manufacturers out there, and here I am saying what the milestone product gun is. Don't buy anything else, right? But again, like that's my opinion.
But we're not even being paid to say that. So
no, and I'm not, right? And I had to buy those tires. And you see those people out there, they get sponsors and they're just like, oh yeah, this is the best thing since sliced bread. I'm like, I've had to pay for everything I own. Don't have sponsorships, right? Like I have to spend my hard-earned money, and I'm going to put my money where I think matters. And so, yeah, and in my experience, again, that's all I have is my experience. Someone's not paying me to say it, but in my opinion, that's the tire I would go with, just from what I've experienced. But yeah, take everything with a grain of salt. Do your own thing. If you want to be a naysayer and be like, no, I want to do my own thing. And I'm kind of that way a little bit, right? Like, I'm usually not, and I could have went with Falcon Wild Peaks. You see everyone and their dog buying them, right? Like, that's what everyone buys. And I'm like, no, I want to be the outlier. And that's kind of why I went with the Toyos.
Yeah.
I think is what Toe was running. And I'm like, you don't see him very often. I want to be the outlier. But yeah, just don't get discouraged. Just do what you think is best. And if you want to reach out for opinions, do it. But take their opinion with a grain of salt. Don't take their hatred towards a spacer lift or this manufacturer or that manufacturer with a grain of salt. Just like, I have some animosities against some of the manufacturers I've dealt with. Right?
For warranted reason.
Correct. You want more detail, you're more than welcome to reach out.
Keep us from getting sued.
Won't hold back. I don't. And I see this too, and I'm like, if you did buy Iron Man, don't feel bad about reaching out and asking for your money back. I know that we talked about that in our little roundtable, but I've actually seen some people that weren't part of that roundtable post on social media and say, and I wasn't going to say anything, right? Because I'm just like, no, maybe they did it for enough. But I've seen more and more people get their money back because they're not happy. So again, if you have Iron Man and you're not happy, don't feel bad about reaching out and asking. Again, you can ask, right? And they can say no, or they can say yes. We want to make you a lifelong customer. And because they did give me my money back on my suspension, it technically paid for all my Rotec stuff, all my Rotec upgrades. They kept me as a customer, maybe not for suspension use, but for awnings and some other things. Like they kept me as a customer because it showed they at least cared a little bit.
And they do make some really good stuff.
Correct.
It's just this is a new product. Yeah, the Subaru stuff is new. Even though it's a few years old now, it's still what I would consider to be a new product.
Correct.
So yeah, I love that. And I like what you said too about don't be afraid to jump in.
Don't get your feet wet.
Dude, that trip where I met you, I don't know how many people on that trip, they'd never been off
Yeah.
road.
I think you even said something about that with Michelle, how far she has
Dude,
come from when
seriously.
she first went on that trip to where we just went a week
Yeah.
ago. Like, you wouldn't know it's the same person off road.
Dude.
So much more confident. She knows what she's doing. Yeah. And again,
Yeah.
don't be afraid.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and have buddies. That's the key, man.
Yeah, I mean, and I say that, and again, I don't have a lot of friends myself, and so there are times where I go out and do a lot of stuff by myself. And if you do that, look at it like I do, I guess. If you don't think you can make it out of there, don't go in.
Turn around.
Correct. Because the minute you go in there and you're like, crap, I shouldn't have done that, and you're out there with no cell phone service, no one's around, no recovery options, you're stuck at that point. So make the best decision for you.
Yeah, I love that. Dude, I could talk your ear off.
Oh, I know.
Hours.
I could too.
Dude, thanks for doing this, man. I know you expressed a little bit of hesitancy or nervousness, but I appreciate
I'm
you
always
being willing
nervous
to
a little
do
bit,
this.
again, because I'm almost afraid of what I'm going to say sometimes. But again, I feel like I did okay.
Well, dude, this was
my
sick,
mouth
man.
gets me in trouble.
Well, thank you, dude. This is like, seriously, this is rad. So thank you, man.
Yeah, and if you know my handle, again, feel free to reach out. I don't do the best at messaging back, so it might take me a week. I think I did the same to you. You're like, don't you ever check your messages on Instagram? Nope, I don't use social media really. So I would love to get back into it, though. I'd love to start posting more and doing a little bit more, but it's hard to get back into.